and 94.5 FM. Online at ESPNSA.com. All day, every day. KZPC San Antonio. Rob Thompson. Blitz. The Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix, RJ Ochoa, in for Rob Thompson today. RJ Ochoa, of course, from bloggingtheboys.com, our original Rock the Mic champ. James Pledger producing as always. It's a Friday. We got 3 hours of fun in store, and no Rob Thompson. You know, Rob telegraphed yesterday about this time that he might need a mental health day, that, by this time, we're about 38 seconds into the show, he was already thinking it was Friday. So it's no surprise that Rob called out today, right? No shock?
It's not. He texted me yesterday, a little bit earlier than right now, about 2 o'clock, and said, hey, would you be available tomorrow if need be? And I said, yeah, I would. And he kind of framed it like he was asking me to. So I said, yeah, I'm in. And I was about to put it in my calendar. He said, oh, I'll let you know. And I was like, I thought that's what you just did. So I said, okay. And this morning he calls me at 8:30 a.m., gives me this whole spiel, and says, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, cool. I got you. Like I told you yesterday at 2 o'clock. So here I am in all my glory, full, three-dimensional, and in a squirrely mood. I'm ready to just have some fun and say some weird stuff. Like that's how I'm feeling right now.
Well, and again, nothing wrong with that because it's a Friday. And, it is kind of, it's been a weird, long week. I don't know if everybody is kind of feeling that, but a lot of people that I talk to, for whatever reason, it's been a long week for everybody, for no particular reason. But, I know for me, I've got the grill clean, I've got a brisket seasoned, ready to go. I'm ready to start my weekend. You know how hard it is to get out there and start cleaning your grill and not crack a beer? I mean, there's just something about being on the back patio that requires an ice cold beer. So, and I think about the weekend ahead of us. This is a great sports weekend. Now, I know rain has been in the forecast all week, and I got a little bit of rain, I think, on Tuesday. But this week of rain hasn't happened. I looked at the app. I listen to the weather guys, and I don't know if it's going to rain all week or not. I have zero confidence right now in my friendly forecasters. Sorry, Bill Taylor, but when I look at the forecast and it says rain, I haven't seen it. So and I don't know if I want it to rain or not. But if it does rain all weekend, the idea that you're going to be able to watch some Stanley Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs get in full swing. You got Astros and Rangers, and the PGA Championship, Gator and all, has been fantastic to watch at this point.
I can almost guarantee it's going to rain because I washed my car on my lunch break. So there you go.
All right, good.
Good for you, Pledge. Making sure everybody's grass gets watered. Very noble act on your behalf. You should mention, Jason, not only Astros Rangers after an Astros sweep of the Rangers. So like a little bit of a cooler, detail to that with the Astros starting to peak. Certainly, like it is. This is. I remember this take floating around the internet kind of around 2015. People love to say, like, the best weekend in sports is what? I've put it out that I think Masters weekend is in contention for that. You could certainly go the weekend of the Final Four, a week before the Masters. Not everything lines up like this every year, but it is generally pretty close where you have, like, the first round of the NBA playoffs. You've got the Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, the PGA Championship isn't always there. You don't always have Astros Rangers. And I was thinking, we were talking right before the show started about some old school Spurs series. A bit of a painful memory, but in 2015, the night the Spurs lost to the Clippers, what fight was going on that weekend? Somebody remind me.
That was a Mayweather fight out in Las Vegas. That was a Mayweather against Pacquiao fight at MGM. One of us on the show was there for that. It was an incredible day because not only you had the Kentucky Derby, you had Game 7 of the Spurs Clips, and it was a week after I had been already in Vegas for a Metallica concert. Back-to-back weekends aren't good for your liver or your wallet when you include Las Vegas.
or your pores, I imagine. Like you were just like sweating, you know, like just all sorts of gunk at that point. But still a good time, I imagine. But yeah, like this weekend, kind of the like, not the first weekend of summer, especially we're talking about like the rain on the way here, but like this is a summery sort of vibe weekend. Like when you were like in middle school, this was generally like the weekend, like the big summer blockbuster would be released or something like that. We're not quite there in terms of movies, but there's a lot going on, a lot to choose from. Power ranking for me, Jason. What in terms of things you're most excited for, sports-wise, this weekend?
For this weekend, watching some NBA playoff basketball and, quite frankly, good competitive basketball that isn't going to piss me off because I'm seeing the Spurs make the same mistakes over and over again. Watching without necessarily a vested interest, but also the Stanley Cup playoffs. And, you know, my Devils aren't in the playoffs. The Stars aren't in the playoffs. So it's kind of the same thing there, you know, just watching good playoff hockey is always a lot of fun. And then a little bit of golf. So, I mean, you kind of got it all. But, you know, probably NBA first and foremost is what I'll be interested in watching all weekend.
So first of all, my Boston Bruins are in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so T's and P's for you, Jason. I know it's a rough life when you don't root for one of the more prestigious franchises in the history of the league like I do.
You're a good bandwagon fan, and they beat the Caps 2-1 with a big game tonight at 5:30 on NBC Sports Network, because I'm sure you weren't even aware that they were playing tonight. But go ahead, Mr. Boston Bruin fan.
I totally was, but so I'm most excited for the BJ Championship, especially as things currently sit in our present moment. Phil Mickelson leading, you know, at Kiowa, so very exciting time there. I think for me, I'm maybe most excited for the Astros series just because they really are kind of starting to peak. So I'm excited to kind of see them establish themselves, and it doesn't hurt that it's against the Rangers, especially after they're coming off and getting no hit earlier this week. I'll put the NBA playoffs as a tie for third. You didn't even mention, Jason, that the Premier League wraps up this weekend. So how could you forget about your favorite league? Oh, yeah, it does.
What is the Premier League you speak of?
The English Premier League, you mentioned NBC Sports Network, the home of it. I mean,
if you would have said the English Premier League, I would have been with you there.
Okay.
The Premier League, you and Fletch could have been talking about some show that you got to watch on Disney Plus, and you watch it over FaceTime with your friends. I didn't. No, that's the Justice League. Sorry. So the Premier League, that's soccer, and it wraps up this way. I don't give a damn about soccer. You know that.
There's a lot going on. This is a crazy weekend.
I know, and I'm with you. Speaking of soccer, you know, the soccer that I do give a damn about is a game that I can actually go to in person. Have you seen the Viva Fiesta jerseys, the Spurs jersey type thing that FC San Antonio is going to wear this weekend?
It's actually... so I told Pledge when I filled in on the Saturday Morning Hangover a few months ago, I actually don't love the Spurs Fiesta jersey that they've returned to. Like they fell really flat for me. It's amazing that San Antonio FC got better Fiesta jerseys sooner than the Spurs did. The SAFCs are glorious. They're perfect. They're absolutely perfect. Just round of applause to SAFC.
I can say that jersey is the first soccer jersey that I've ever wanted to go purchase outside of a Team USA jersey when I was jumping on either a World Cup or Olympic bandwagon. Right? That is the first jersey
right now.
I see that. I have no idea what team you're trying to rep, but it looks good on you, man. But I saw that jersey and I was like, that's a jersey that I would go buy.
It's really great. SAFC, we love you if you're listening. Incredible job. And like it's simple, but it's elegant. And like that's a difficult balance to find. So congratulations to them, certainly for pulling this off. But yeah, there's a lot of sports going on. It makes finding time, and who could forget, Jason, this week on Jeopardy has been the Tournament of Champions. Dude, there's elite competition happening everywhere on network television right now.
Speaking of elite competition, a little breaking news, James Pledger.
ESPN San Antonio, breaking news.
Manny Pacquiao, we just spoke of him, He has announced on Twitter a fight coming up August 21st in Las Vegas against Errol Spence. That's going to be a hell of a fight. Or it could be a hell of a fight. I don't know what we're getting out of Manny Pacquiao at this point.
I mean, it's going to be entertaining, right? Like, we know that. Is that not fair to say?
That is very, very fair to say. All right, it is the Blitz. RJ is in for Rob. Of course, we want you to be a part of the show on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines. 210-656-ESPN is the telephone number. On Twitter, he is at RJ Ochoa. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. While RJ might not agree with my rankings, I put them together. So we're going to talk about the biggest sports events of the weekend coming up. That is the beginning of the NBA playoffs. But I want to couch a little bit different. Who do you think is going to end up in the NBA Finals? Kind of call your shot before the playoffs actually begin, but not necessarily who you think, but also who do you want in the NBA Finals? You know, I mean, and that could be some long shots, but, you know, the matchups are going to be there unless there's some upsets along the way. So who would you want if upsets happen versus who do you think will be in there? We'll get into that coming up. We'll talk the future of the Spurs with Jeff McDonald. He will join us at 4:30. Your phone calls as we continue here on the Blitz talking NBA playoffs. It is Friday. You know you're going to fire up the grill this weekend.
You're up.
You want authentic sausage on that grill. You know the kind you can find it.
I can prove it if you want.
The Kia Bossa smoked sausage.
I said you're out. Usually you say prove it.
Kia Bossa, they make their legendary smoked sausage in small 150-pound batches with only
one of these
ingredients, never frozen meat. They don't add fillers or chemicals that you.
They're dope, right?
Then it is smoked over real hardwood, just the way Rufus Kia Bossa did back in 1949 when he started the company here in San Antonio. And Kia Bossa is still a great local San Antonio company that is on a mission to reintroduce you to authentic smoked meats. So when you buy Kia Bossa brand sausage, you know you're getting the best, most authentic smoked sausage you will ever eat. If it's not, call Michael Kia Bossa. He'll give your money back. He guarantees it's the best. That's why he puts his phone number on the back of every package sold. Kia Bossa sausage is now available at Walmart, and you can find Kia Bossa sausage, bacon, chorizo, and breakfast links at an H-E-B near you. You're going to fire up the grill. Go get some Kia Bossa today.
Catch Texas Rangers baseball right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. Brought to you by New Brakes Mobile Brake Repair.
That he's at the wall, and that ball is history.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
And Rob Thompson here for Service First AC and Plumbing. Service First AC and Plumbing is actually at my house right now. I woke up this morning and had a bit of an emergency. The good news is I had it in my phone. The number's 210-521-1500. One touch, before you know it, they were here taking care of the issue. That's what Service First AC and Plumbing is all about. First of all, they're family owned. That's most important to me. They're from San Antonio, years of experience. But more importantly, they're fast, reliable, proactive, and I trust them. When you have a guy in the business like Service First AC and Plumbing, you can trust that they're going to take care of you as they would their own family. The number you need is 210-521-1500. Their website is servicefirstactx.com. Put it in your phone because emergencies happen. It's how you handle them that matters. And when you call Service First AC,
It's how you handle it when it matters.
Right.
It's how you handle it. How do you handle it?
210-521-1500. Remember it, put it in your phone.
Usually myself. Doesn't go well.
Service First AC and Plumbing. A call, I'm sure.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing in our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, your home to 7 days a week happy hour. Come eat, drink, and socialize safely at all 4 Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar locations. And now you can join us bright and early at the newest location, Slackers Medical Center. Now opens at 7 a.m. to serve our valued medical community. Nurses, doctors, frontline workers, and staff, we thank you. Slackers Medical Center at Fredericksburg and Medical Drive. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 area locations to quench your thirst.
Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
The Dodgers today announced the tickets are full capacity game 315 for the regular season will go on sale.
Who's their series against that weekend? June 15th, you said?
In-store, online, store-wide. Let 5 bags of garden fresh milks for just $10. Save on everything from flower beds to a fresh coat of paint. From power tools to ceiling fans. Ready, set, suck. Memorial Day Phillies.
Phillies.
Doers get more done. With a 75 bags per customer, colors like those.
I thought it would have been funny if they did at the same time the Astros did, because the Astros are going full capacity against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to the Astros-Yankees game.
Oh, cool.
On July 11th, and I'm pumped to see it at full capacity.
That's awesome.
What?
RJ said he's going to Astros Yankees.
Now it's time to discover where it can take us. Good news, more to it.
You know, another sign that things are starting to return to normal. California is reopening in June. The Dodgers just announced that in anticipation of the California's reopening, a return to full capacity at Dodger Stadium will begin on June 15th and for the remainder of the season. And I think about things happening up in California that affect me because that's what really matters, right? Oxnard, home of Dallas Cowboys training camp. We know we're going. Super Bowl is going to be in LA this year. And just as things return back to normal, you know, I heard the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, was on KJZ today, and he talked about as the playoffs go and more people get vaccinated, you will see fuller and fuller stadiums. Maybe not 100% capacity, but it could be 75, 80% capacity. Watching some of the Stanley Cup playoffs with a ton of fans in the stands, and how fun it is. I know this past week, last Sunday, I was at the national championship football game in Maine. And limited crowd, obviously, but sold out of the allotment they were able to have. But it was weird because while they reduced the capacity, there was no social distancing in the seats, man. We were all in the sections that we were able to be in. It was just fun to be in an environment like that. Tuesday night, going out to a Missions game. As things return to normal, we're going to see that. And as the playoffs continue in the NBA, more and more fans are going to be in the stands. The question I have for you is, the NBA playoffs officially get going this weekend. The final play-in game happens tonight between Memphis and the Golden State Warriors, a game you can listen to right here on ESPN San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. Then you get the weekend playoff games that are going to start. RJ, as we start the playoffs, kind of call your shot. Who do you think is going to end up in the NBA Finals? And we can go conference finals too if you want. But not only who do you think, but who do you want? Because, you know, as Spurs fans, our rooting interest is on vacation. They're on the beach. They're on golf courses. They're doing anything but basketball at this point. So you got to pick your kind of playoff team that you're going to follow through. Who do you want? Who do you think? Who do you want? 656-ESPN, 656-3776, or on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix.
So, two things very quickly before I give you my answer. Number one, you have long poo-pooed my history of establishing a 2 team. Just want that on the record. Pledge knows that is true. So kind of ironic that you are now in the interest of establishing a 2 team. But that being said, the question as to who I want, are you saying through like who does RJ Ochoa want no matter what? Or who does RJ Ochoa, the Spurs fan, want? Like, are we trying to establish any levels of joy?
No.
So this is just personal opinion.
I was going to let you go first, but I will go first so you understand how to play the game, because clearly You can't follow simple instructions.
Complicated rules.
I think the NBA Finals are going to be the Lakers and Nets.
Wow, bold take.
It is a bold take, isn't it? I mean, LeBron is going to, change the GOAT conversation. If he could stay healthy from the 7th seed, they're going to go and win the NBA Finals and beat the Brooklyn Nets. That's what I think is ultimately going to happen. That's what the script writers would say in Hollywood. What I want to see is Doc Rivers leave LA, give Kawhi the finger, show up in Philadelphia, and take the 76ers to the NBA Finals and beat the Utah Jazz. I think Utah is a really good team that nobody wants to give any credit to. You hear Lakers, you hear Clippers, you hear Suns. You don't hear people talking about the Utah Jazz. I think Utah is really, really, really good. They remind me of the Spurs, 99 team, 03 team when they won titles when nobody was talking about them. I like Utah. So I want it to be Sixers over Utah and Utah to lose because, but I do think it'll be Lakers over Nets in the NBA Finals.
So I agree with your Super Bowl strategy, as Anthony Cepeda points out, that you had. I mean, really going out on a limb here, it's going to be Lakers Nets in the finals. And in a weird way,
we didn't say let's be bold in predicting things. What do you think's going to happen? Ultimately, that's it. And I don't want it to go that way, to be honest.
So I have things I want, but in a very unique way, I want to see Lakers Nets. And like in a weird way, I want to see the Lakers. And to your point, like I want to see this LeBron. I really do want to see I don't want this to fizzle out early. I want to see how far this thing really goes. And I want to see him against the Nets in that sense. Like I want to see this to me feels like Avengers Age of Ultron. Like I want to see like this big, massive production, all these stars. We lined up to see this at the beginning of the NBA season. So I want to see it like kind of play itself out. But if I'm talking about what I truly, truly, truly want, I want to see Denver. Like you talk about teams that have been disrespected. Like Pledge is the first person I ever heard call him a paper tiger, and shout out to Pledge for being fastest on that train. But like they have gotten no respect. They might have the MVP if it weren't for Steph on their team. And so I would love to see the payoff there in terms of on the Western side of things. In the East, a teeny tiny part of me wants to see New York get in just because it'd be cool.
The Knicks?
But that's not practical. So if we're talking about like a measure or a nice aggregate of want and practicality, I want to see Milwaukee get there finally. I've been on that trade for so long, not that I'm the first or the last or the 5 millionth or whatever, but Denver, Milwaukee, crown Giannis, get him a title so we can finally stop dealing with all this. And Giannis did what we all wanted to see too. He stayed. Like I want to see that have a payoff and have a reward because I want to see that happen more than
I certainly wouldn't argue if I saw Milwaukee make it to the NBA Finals. I mean, obviously Giannis, the players, but knowing Coach Bud for all those years, Chad Forcier, who was an assistant in San Antonio for years and years and years, that is now an assistant with the Milwaukee Bucks. For them to be able to get there, I'm with you. I'd love to see it. I just don't see it happening. And again, for me, it's Philadelphia, Doc Rivers. To give the middle finger to Kawhi and then go get a ring, I think that's worthy. But I'm not that. I'm down with both of what you just said. The NBA probably doesn't want to see that.
You went at it from what's the best Spurs result possible? You know what I mean? And that's Doc, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like that was the game I didn't know if we were playing or not. Like what's the biggest victory we can achieve for the Spurs in all this? And that would be the 76ers.
Well, see, and I didn't even look at it that way from a Spurs perspective. They're out of it. There is nothing there that relates to Spurs and Philadelphia going in that sense. I mean, the fact that Morey would end up with a ring would be the one downside to that argument because people like James Pledger's head would explode if he left and then was able to collect a ring. Same thing with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, part of the reason I want to see Brooklyn get there, and then I want to see Kevin Durant cry. I want to see Kyrie cry, and I want to see James Harden not give a damn like he does every other night on the court, whether they win or lose.
That was really mean. You want to see a lot of tears. Like I want to see joy. Like that's what I'm saying. I want to see Denver have their moment in the sun or Milwaukee have their moment in the sun. Like That's what's motivating my wants and wishes. But yours is like pain and misery for people.
Well, but it would be joy on the other side and then pain and misery on the other. Absolutely.
He's taking joy in other people's pain and misery.
Let me flip the script. It sounds like, or it's obvious that the two worst possible scenarios are Brooklyn or the Clippers win, right? Like we can agree that those are the two, whatever order you want to rank them in. Who's the third worst possible team to win it all for you? Be upset by?
That I would be upset if they actually went and won it.
Yeah. Because again, Brooklyn and the Clippers are 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Lakers in there, and I'd almost put the Lakers in there on top of that. And I will tell you, RJ, and I am picking the Lakers to win it all. I hate the Lakers. I've hated them forever. I mean, you go back to the long history of the San Antonio Spurs. That all the different battles, the different cast of characters. I just don't want to see the Lakers win. I really don't. So on my list, I know you got the Clippers, and obviously that dude would be on there. The Nets and their super team that they put together. Although it would be kind of cool for Steve Nash, but but you got to include the Lakers in that mix. I can't have a list that doesn't include the Lakers that I'm upset if they win it all.
I agree with you. So then if we agree in whatever order that the top 3 are the 2 LA teams in Brooklyn, who's number 4? Because is it Dallas for you?
Well, Dallas has no shot. So I don't. I'm
but
not.
That's again, and that would actually make it worse because they have no shot. And then if they did it would be like, look how great.
It's weird. I mean, yeah, I guess I would have to put Dallas on that list because there is no hate for the other teams that are in this postseason. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you've got to make a list and make a ranking, but I really don't see the Mavericks with any kind of shot whatsoever. I like the Suns. You couldn't be mad if Boston won. I'd be thrilled if Portland somehow was able to pull it off. Just, Dame and, their franchise so similar to San Antonio, yet they've never gotten over the hump and we have 5 rings. I think that would be the coolest story of a surprise winner, a surprise team in the NBA Finals or hoisting a Larry O'Brien at the end, to me, would be Portland.
I mean, we're dreaming here. Like, admittedly, some of these things are impossible. What about the Warriors? That would be really cool in some senses. Like, that would be really, really, really cool.
If Golden State, and again, you look at what Steph is doing alone. I mean, he and Draymond, and I mean, they're going to get Klay Thompson back, and they're going to be good. I don't know if they're going to be championship good when you look at the other teams and what they've already done. I don't know if the legit window is still open for Golden State, even if Klay Thompson comes back. When you look, though, at what Steph is doing, if they were somehow able to go on a run, yeah, it would be an incredible story and probably vault Steph up on what list of greatest players of all time. I don't know, does that put him in the top 10 if they're able to have this year and then go and win an NBA Finals? But I mean, that's such a pipe dream.
My last question along these lines is, and the answer is only going to be like one of 3 or 4 people. Who stands to gain the most legacy-wise from a title this year? Is it LeBron?
It is LeBron. It is LeBron, because when you think about LeBron James, and this is such a great debate. I mean, you get people my age, Rob Thompson's age. It's hard to even have a conversation with about Michael Jordan and then anybody else, right? And Rob is much older than I am, but you look at it. I mean, well, he is. He's 7 years older than I am, but I mean, but every time, I mean, we all go 6-0 in the finals, right? Nobody talks about Michael Jordan's playoff losses leading up to that, but we always look at LeBron's record in the finals, and he is the first to tell us how hurt he always is, which personally I always have an issue with. I'm an NFL guy. Those guys are always playing hurt. I just watched a college kid lead Sam Houston to a national championship, and I thought they were going to have to perform surgery during every time he was on the sidelines. Man, those trainers did an incredible job. I've never seen a backup quarterback warm up more than I saw the Sam Houston backup quarterback warming up last week. Well, LeBron turns his ankle, finger in the eye, all those different things. But we know he's playing through injuries. But if he could take this team from the 7th seed to an NBA Finals, yeah, I mean, you talk about legacy. That's a story that could never be told, ever.
Right on. Okay.
So let's talk about a team that isn't in the postseason, one that's already focused on the future. The Spurs. What are their big off-season plans? We'll talk about that with Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News. As we continue here on the Blitz, Jeff McDonald joins us next. Jason Minix here for Ansira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ansira I-10 Complex. Easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ansira because I am a long-time Ansira customer. Through the years, I've bought many vehicles from Ansira, including one that I'm driving now. My daughter's car is from Ansira, so is my niece's car. People at the radio station are driving Ansira vehicles, and it's because of how well they take care of you before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ansira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available. And you know price made Ansira number one. Price keeps Ansira number one. So think Ansira. Ansira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ansira I-10 Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Heathner.
Dad does a lot for the
15
family,
seconds.
so let's tell him thanks by giving him $1,000
Tri-County in 10.
for Father's Day. ESPN San Antonio is helping this Father's Day with the
Five.
$1,000 for Dad contest. Register now at ESPNSA.com.
You know, as you think about firing up the grill this weekend, that great meal starts with great meat. You need to get into Tri-County Meat Market. They have 2 locations. They're locally owned and full service. They have carefully selected, certified farm Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, upper choice. They have everything you need of your grilling game, the beef, the chicken, the pork, the fajitas. Their seasoned fajitas are so good. They got all the great poppers, so much more. You can stock up on the Pick 5 for $25, and you know when you go into Tri-County, they offer a 10% discount for all military and first responders, police, firemen, and EMT. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Bell Road and on Heathner, or go to their website, Tri-County.
Hello, I'm Dr. Torres, founder of the Institute for Functional Health here in the heart of San Antonio. Has the healthcare model of the past century let you down? This story sounds all too familiar. You see doctor after doctor. Each one runs a few labs, prescribes a new medication, and invites you back in a few months for prescription refills, likely without a game plan. You're stuck in this endless cycle while, quite frankly, you don't feel much better than you did when you first started. Sure, your labs may improve. Your doctor may say everything looks normal, but you know better. You don't feel any better. This is exactly why I invite you to visit us here at the Institute for Functional Health, where we have reinvented patient care and are proud to invite you to the future of integrated modern medicine. We offer primary care for when you're sick or need prescription refills. But more importantly, our entire team focuses on finding the root cause of your symptoms and getting you off of your medications. So if you are tired of masking symptoms and are ready to get to the root cause of your problems, call us for a free consultation. 468-1891. 468-1891.
Thomas J. Henry recently recovered $20 million for a back injury in a product liability case. If you were hurt in an accident, we can help. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio to start your claim today. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Introducing Fidelity Income Planning. We look at how much you've saved, how much you'll need, and help you build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. A plan that gives you the chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE, SIPC.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. RJ Ochoa is in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing as always. So the offseason has already started for the San Antonio Spurs as the NBA playoffs get going this weekend. So the Spurs, plenty of work to do as they've missed the postseason for consecutive years for the first time in franchise history. So lots of questions. Jeff McDonald has all the answers, and he joins us now here on the Blitz. Right, Jeff? You have all the answers.
Yeah, if I have all the answers, then I'm vastly underpaid.
Well, that's a true statement on a variety of levels. But I mean, you look at this off season for the Spurs, and really more questions than answers at this point. I think even those that are sitting inside the Spurs front office, it doesn't start with DeMar. What does he want to do? And by all accounts, according to him anyway, he's unsure of what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's obviously the big internal free agent you've got to make a decision on, and you're right that it's not just the Spurs that have to make that decision; it's DeMar as well. And you could see this going a lot of ways. I feel pretty confident saying he's going to look around. This isn't it sounds like a cliche, but he's going to weigh his options this offseason. He's never been really a completely unrestricted free agent before. When he was in Toronto, he re-upped with them without taking any other calls, without taking any other visits. So this time around, he seems pretty set on at least looking around, taking calls, listening to what other teams have to offer. And it'll be an interesting offseason to see what his value is, because he's going to be one of the bigger names on the free agent market. I think if I looked at it today, there can be a maximum of 3 All-Stars from 2021 becoming free agents this offseason. One is Kawhi, one is Mike Conley from Utah, and one is Chris Paul if Chris Paul decides not to exercise his player option to come back to Phoenix. So outside of that, you're looking at DeMar as kind of the next name on the list. But we all know he's one of the best scorers in the league. He can put up numbers, and his assists went up a lot. Like he's shown that he can sort of play in a movement kind of game. But we also, having seen him the last 3 years, know his shortcomings in the modern NBA. Not going to shoot threes very much. Not going to be a defensive stopper. He's not the kind of guy that you're going to build a franchise around. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any teams with cap space that see him as a worthy, number 3 guy or something like that, and are willing to throw some money at him. So that's kind of what we'll be looking for over the offseason.
Jeff, obviously, this has been an interesting week, to say the least, for you and for everything and for everyone. Have you felt this way before? Like, I know we joked about it when you first jumped on, but like, does this feel any different? And if so, in what way?
Does it feel any different? I don't know. It feels different in that I kind of, knock on wood, feel like I don't have to do another Zoom interview with anybody else for the rest of my life. Maybe like that would be awesome. I'll tell you where it feels different. We haven't brought up this guy yet, but Greg Popovich. For the last, going back to, I remember him sitting on the podium after some of those finals in 2013 and 2014, and people asking about his future and was he going to come back for another year. So we've been doing this dance with him for 7 or 8 years now. But I think we're at the point where now more than ever, you can say that the odds of him. You could say the odds of him not coming back, of retiring, calling it an NBA career, are higher than they've ever been. He hasn't really, obviously, knowing Pop, he hasn't, publicly announced his intentions or anything. But I think it's fair to say, there's a better than chance than there ever been we've seen Pop coach his last game, just for a variety of reasons. I mean, he's 72. Like coaches, there's a very short list of coaches that have made it in the NBA past age 70. So, he was kind of on the clock when he hit 70. And I think, we've talked about it before too. Everyone's just sort of, even though he's never said this, everyone's just sort of seeing the Olympics as sort of the swan song, and that's coming up here, at the end of the summer. So if you're asking me one thing that's different, it would be that the feeling the feeling is stronger than ever that, we might have seen the last of Pop on the Spurs sideline.
And your colleague, Mike Finger, wrote in the Express News, obviously, that, if that was his last game, it was exactly the way Pop would want. No fanfare. Nobody's talking about it. There you go. And I think that is kind of strange because, leading up to the end of this season, that hasn't been a topic. And I think part of it is just because I think fans are in media alike we don't know. And part of me thinks he'll be back because I think he's having fun with the young guys. I also don't think he wants to leave the organization in the current shape that it's in. I think he would rather leave the organization with things at least on the upswing and not the downward trend. So actually, I do think there's another year for Greg Popovich, but who knows? And you got Robert Horry, who thinks, Robert Horry said yesterday on the Dan Patrick Show, he thinks Pop is done, and basically, with no inside knowledge, just said, look, the game is passed the Spurs by. Is it time for Pop to get off the court? And, I thought that was a pretty powerful statement from one of his former players.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that the game has passed Pop by, but the Spurs roster just isn't built for 2021. I mean, not to give everybody a pass, but I feel like Pop is playing the game you have to play when your best player is DeMar DeRozan, and when you don't have tons of 3-point shooters like Utah and Portland and some of those teams do. I mean, I think there's a recognition with Pop and the coaching staff and even the front office that you got to shoot more threes to win, to compete in the modern NBA. I think there's that recognition. I think it's just the process it takes to get the roster to the point where you can credibly do that has taken some time, because they just don't have those 3-point shooters. It's not because they don't want them. It's just they don't have them. And I think that will be something you'll look at in the that's something you'll look at in free agency. They'll want to attract some guys like that, but so does everybody else in the league. So,
true. And I think it's fair to say though, with if the game hasn't passed Pop by, and like you said, he's coaching with the roster that he has, the roster is constructed by Greg Popovich. So I think that falls under him as well. And obviously GM Brian Wright. So, I think to Robert Horry's point, whether it's Pop's coaching or the roster that they have put together, but I still go back and blame Kawhi because, that guy threw a monkey wrench into all the Spurs future post Tim Duncan plans.
Right. And, a lot of this is because we can go back and second guess the trade for DeMar. I mean, I was fine.
It was the best trade available at the time.
Yeah, I was fine with the trade when it happened. I would have been fine if they'd have done something else. They were put in a bad situation. It was fine. But when you trade for DeMar DeRozan, and he's going to be your leading scorer, and he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. That's going to dictate the way you play a lot. I mean, he's not a 3-point shooter. He's a mid-range guy. You had LaMarcus Aldridge on the team at the same time. That was the same way. So that's why I think you've seen a lot of them become so mid-range heavy. If the Spurs had traded if the best guy on let's just have fun and say, Steph Curry at the time was disgruntled in Golden State, and so you swap Kawhi for Steph Curry. Well, then the Spurs would be a better 3-point shooting team. They would have built their team around the 3-ball a little bit better, a little bit faster. They traded for the best guy they could at the time, but it wasn't a guy that's going to get you 3-pointers or allow you to play that style where you get a lot of threes. And so that's kind of the hand they were dealt in the game that they play. And it'll just be interesting to see if DeMar moves on, what they're able to replace him with, and how that dictates how they play going forward.
Yeah, Jeff, I feel like it's so awkward to talk about DeMar sometimes in this sense of they kind of had to make it work. He's a great player. Obviously, I think that point is made. If he does move on, I mean, in beyond the obvious sense, do you view that as the beginning of the true, I don't want to call it a rebuild, but the true, like, moving on, the true, okay, now we can go in whatever direction potentially, because we aren't linked to this, remnants of the trade from Kawhi?
I do, but I also would caution that things could look worse before they look better if DeMar moves on. I mean, it depends on what you replace him with. But this team this team has a lot of good young players, young pieces, a good young foundation, but they're all guys for the most part drafted into the 20s. They're complementary pieces. Who's the next star is my question. If you let DeMar go, which would be a fine thing to happen. I mean, I'm not gonna raise hell if DeMar DeRozan isn't on the team next year, or if he decides to move on. But if he's not going to be here, who's going to be your star? Who's going to score for you? Who's going to be the ringleader? And they might not have anybody next. I mean, it just depends on how free agency goes, how guys develop internally. But they might not have someone like that next year. They might take a step back in terms of the record. I think Spurs fans need to prepare themselves that this isn't a 1 or 2 year, or even a 3 or 4 year process to building this thing back to where you're maybe competing for conference titles again. It's hard to build a conference title contender when you are in a small market. If you are the Lakers, you can suck and suck and suck, and then sign LeBron and Anthony Davis, and you're fine. When you're the Spurs, or a good example would be the Utah Jazz, it takes a long time to build, a little luck. The Jazz, you could argue, are still building back from the end of the vaunted Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer era. Like, they still haven't gotten back to where they were at that point. This would be the first year that they're you look at them as a title contender again. If you just want to start their rebuild and say, well, it started when they drafted Rudy Gobert. Well, it took them, that was 8 years ago. Like, it took them 8 years to build from Rudy Gobert to a team that's got the best record in the league, but they still haven't accomplished, anything of note in the playoffs. So,
and very few people have them winning the NBA Finals this year, even though they are the 1 seed. It is a great point, and I don't know if Spurs fans are ready for that or prepared for that. No matter how much you might try to warn them. Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News here on ESPN San Antonio. The 21st day of May, Spurs are 2 days into their offseason. Looking into your crystal ball, gut feeling, yes or no? DeMar back?
Gut feeling, no inside information, but gut feeling, no.
Rudy Gay back?
I'm going to say yes.
Really? All right. Patty Mills?
I'm going to say yes if at a discount, maybe.
Yeah, I think of the three, Patty's back probably on a 3-year deal with the player option on that last year at about 10 per, because he ain't getting out of bed for less than 10. But you got to keep that corporate knowledge around. So that leaves a lot of money to spend in the offseason. Who of the available free agents? Not who do you want? Who's likely to get overpaid by the San Antonio Spurs?
That's a hard question to answer, because we know who it's not going to be. Like, it's not going to be that top tier of guys that I mentioned. It's going to be somebody from the middle tier. And I would argue that you don't have, just because you have cap space doesn't mean you have to spend it. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can do is, don't, like you said, overpay a guy. Don't overpay a guy. Don't just hold on to it. And then there'll be a time for you to strike. And that's kind of what Utah did. To go back to them. They got lucky in some drafts where they get Rudy Gobert late in the draft. They get Donovan Mitchell at 15. That's your foundation. But then they kept the rest of their books pretty clean, so that when, and there were some years in there they didn't do a lot personnel wise. They just kind of built around those guys, and they were okay. But they kept their books clean, and then when it's you can trade for a Jordan Clarkson when that comes up, or when that opportunity arises, or you can have a year where you sign Bogdanovich because you've got your books clean. You don't have to use your cap space to sign a guy. You can trade into that cap space. So maybe there's a guy you go into next season. Maybe there's a Kawhi on another team who's disgruntled and needs to get out. You've got the wherewithal to be able to take that guy on without having to blow up your roster. So I would say free agency is important for the Spurs this year, and they're definitely going to try to use that money to improve the team. But if they don't sign some guy that you're in love with, or they keep it kind of casual. That's not the worst thing in the world either, as long as they hold on to that cap space. And that's why I'm saying when you're rebuilding in a small market, it takes some time because you're really waiting on opportunities to rise, and some of those opportunities are not in your control. You're waiting for a guy to come available for trade, or a guy you really want free agency that wants to sign with you. So you're asking for specific names who they might sign this offseason. I have no idea.
I said when we started the interview, Jeff McDonald has all the answers. Yeah, it's not going to be that guy. But I knew you had all the answers, Jeff. That's why we wanted to have you on. Jeff McDonald, the offseason has begun. That means a vaccinated McDonald will be at Green Hall at a live show very, very soon. Yeah, come see me. I'll be signing autographs after the show. Absolutely. And buying everybody beer, right? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. I hear you.
Yeah.
Have fun at Green Hall, man.
All right, man.
We'll talk to you later. Jeff McDonald of the Express News on Twitter, @McDonald_SAEN. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Spurs. Interesting going on in South Carolina at the PGA Championship. We'll talk about it next. RJ is glued to the monitors. He'll give us an update because his boy Phil is no longer in the lead. We'll tell you who has it when we come back here on the Blitz. But first, let me tell you about Barbecue Outfitter, Central Texas, locally owned barbecue grill shop for the last 23 years. They've got their Memorial Day, or they've got their big sale. Memorial Day is their Gear Up for Summer sale. It's going on now through Memorial Day. They are gearing up for the backyard with specials on the Big Green Egg, Kamado Joe, Weber Grills, all 5 of their pellet brands for the pellet grills, including Traeger and Yoder. Barbecue Outfitters has all the barbecue rubs, the cookbook, smoking woods, charcoal, accessories, everything you need for your backyard barbecue adventures. Also built-in outdoor kitchens right now, contractor pricing for all outdoor kitchen packages. They have contractor pricing open to the public now through Memorial Day. So if you're thinking about that outdoor kitchen, get into Barbecue Outfitters. Their showroom has the best names in the business, including Lynx, Twin Eagles, Fire Magic, DCS, Heston, and more. Barbecue Outfitters has been helping Central Texans be backyard culinary heroes since 1998. They're at 1604 Chavano Park next to the Ridge Shopping Center. So go check out their Gear Up for Summer sale now through Memorial Day. Barbecue Outfitters online, bbqoutfitters.com.
We're #1 on Kate Upton's presets.
Okay, we probably are.
But how awesome would that be?
Yes, I was.
Hi, Kate. San Antonio sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
All day, every day.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
And happy hour is back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. Feeling snacky? We also have select apps available for $2, $4, and $6. Cheers!
If your definition of free time means arguing with your spouse, you might want to pick a new hobby. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. forhims.com/radio. That's right. Free, zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear. It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries with Uber Eats. That's right, an extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. If that sounds good, visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats, deliver with us. Limited time offer, terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minix. RJ Ochoa is in for Rob Thompson today. RJ pulled away from watching golf. Your boy Phil's no longer in the lead. And, of course, as I'm about to talk about it, the scoreboard leaves the page. Who's in the lead right now?
Well, one of my other guys, one of the OG Saturday Morning Hangovers guys, Brooks Koepka, is tied for the lead with Louis Oosthuizen. I mean, so it's just shaping up to be a fun time out of Kiowa. The course is fighting, but the players are fighting back. This is a magnificent leaderboard right now. This is a major championship.
It's spectacular, and I don't play enough golf or watch enough golf but when I heard the announcers earlier talking about how the winds are going to completely shift and come another direction, you think about how you're playing the course today versus Sunday is going to be completely different, which just seems bizarre that the winds could shift that much. But I guess when you're playing over water, that's to be expected. What a spectacular looking course, too. That one's probably on a bucket list for many to go play.
That's right. I mean, that whole area, obviously, in the Carolinas is really great. But yeah, I mean, that's the morning crew. Like Phil got out there this morning. I mean, had a much heavier advantage in that the wind was not as swirly. It looks a little bit like a British Open, like a traditional British Open. But I mean, that's why back in 2012 when Rory won, I mean, there were a lot of international players who had a lot of success just because they're kind of used to more of that links golf. But the Americans making us proud today. Brooks Koepka. This dude is incredible. Just shows up for the big time tournaments all the time. He's elite.
He certainly is. Now, I want to ask you a question. You might not know the answer to this, but you said all the courses in that area. This course is in South Carolina. I played a couple of courses in Hilton Head on vacation once. How far away from Hilton Head is this course in South Carolina?
I mean, I can tell you like miles, but
why not, RJ? You're 38.7. I mean, come on.
But that whole area is awesome. Hilton Head, obviously, the RBC Heritage is out there. Our buddy Abraham almost won it last year in the restart. Got beaten by Webb Simpson. Obviously, Pinehurst is that neck of the woods. I mean, it's a really great piece of the country. You head on over to the Carolinas. You get some catfish for lunch. You go play some golf. You have some barbecue for dinner, and I mean that's a day. How do you top that in life?
I don't know about the catfish, man. If I'm over there, I'm getting some good pulled pork. But that's just me. The one thing I do know is when I played at Hilton Head, I didn't see any gators on the course because I don't know that I could have finished a round and I'd ever go back. It's amazing to me watching the gators that are just walking around this golf course, around those golfers who seemingly have no reaction to the fact that there's an alligator on the course other than waiting for it to leave.
I mean, I think the alligators are okay. I know you're concerned. I know that you would not be able to move. You would be petrified, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. I promise.
I'm looking at that. And by the way, Hilton Head is less than 2 hours from this course in South Carolina. My friend Dan just texted me. But I mean, you look at. I see a snake on the course. I'm in the cart and I'm driving the other way. I'm just saying that's just those gators are freaking me out every time I see them on TV. a lot of interesting things in this NBA season, a very unique NBA season. I think some things are worth keeping, others not so much. Adam Silver was on KJZ this morning. His thoughts on what might stay and what won't. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Blitz here on ESPN San Antonio.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Gotta finish this today.
Cristiano's construction projects typically run smoothly, but this project's pipeline is about to burst.
So, boss, where you want us to put this? To the left. Your other left. John.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision.
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you gear up for that next oil change. We've got a great deal for the job. Right now you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional or high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Your home for everything Cowboys. Touchdown, Cowboys! 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minutes, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minix. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. RJ, of course, with Blogging the Boys, bloggingtheboys.com, as well as our original Rock the Mic champ, Pledger, producing as always. It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock. If you're still in the office, why?
Get out. I mean,
yeah, it's time to go. Normally, Pledge, it's a sound effect right there.
Off. Yeah, I was waiting on that.
I was waiting on it too. Apparently, Pledge has already left the building. He's already gone.
Try it again. So yeah, I mean, if you're in the building, leave.
Unless your name is James Pledger, he has to stay. He can't get out of there.
You want me to stay?
If you want. I mean, it's not like you're doing much anyway. So, I mean, you think about well, he's got to hit a button and he didn't do it. Come on. I mean,
right, so did you not know what he's saying?
No, I know what he's trying to do.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
I just lay on the first one, and after that, it was over.
Yep. Pretty much. Moving on. KJZ this morning. Adam Silver was there. Unique NBA season. Obviously, the start date, I liked starting when they did. I've always maintained that the NBA season should be shorter and start on Christmas Day. Or quite frankly, from a business standpoint, I know going too much shorter than what they did this year from 82 to 72 it is a business and there's financial ramifications to shortening the season. Although when you look at shorter seasons, games matter more. You don't have players resting or missing games because of rest, but their financial model is built on an 82 game schedule and, hard to go backwards. I mean, they were able to do 72 this year, and a lot of teams, Spurs included, down the stretch when they had to miss games because of the COVID, they, towards the end, it was too much. I don't know what the right answer is there. I don't have an issue. I kind of like the NBA playing into July. This year's NBA Finals, if it goes all the way to a Game 7, the NBA Finals will be July 22nd. That's great because you know what happens the following week? NFL training camps start. When you think about the, finals wrapping up on a traditional calendar at some point in June, you get that month of what? Before NFL training camps kind of begin. So as a sports fan, with the exception of baseball, and I know that's there, and I know there are other things on the sports calendar, but when you think about the four majors, when you only have one thing going and it's baseball, and say you're a fan of the Texas Rangers, as soon as they got to about 500, how many have they lost? How many innings have they gone without scoring?
9 of 10 and 22 scoreless innings.
22 scoreless innings. They've lost 9 of 10 since they got to 500, right? And I think that all started with the sweep of the Houston Astros. But if your team is out of it, your interest in baseball is gone, right? I like the idea of the NBA shifting their calendar to start Christmas, end in July, then we roll right into football.
I don't think anybody is disagreeing with you. I don't think anybody is opposed to that. I like starting in Christmas time. That's probably my favorite part about this proposal. But I mean, and you mentioned it's hard to go backwards, but I think I would like shortening the season for the reason you just described baseball being a bit of a drag if your team's out of it. Because if your team's out of it, it's we got to watch all these games. It's just, this week has been awesome because the basketball has felt epic. You know what I mean? And that just takes so long to be the case.
With the play-in games, that's likely to stay according to the commissioner if he can get the players on board. Now, they might tweak the rules a little bit because if there is a large gap between the 7th seed and the 8th seed, is it fair if you're the 7th seed to have to play in this play-in tournament, potentially lose 2 games and you're out of the postseason? Is that fair? From a player perspective, I could see them tweaking it that if you're within so many games, you're in. If they'll do that. So I think the play-in will stay from what the commissioner said this morning on KJZ, which you could have heard right here and should have heard because you're listening to KJZ in the morning here on ESPN San Antonio. What the commissioner does want to do is get back to more of a traditional NBA schedule, get on their normal NBA calendar, and I don't know that I'm a fan of this.
We're looking towards getting back on our regular schedule. The problem is, of course, it won't be as short an off season as there was coming into this season, where we finished in mid-October and then started again in Christmas. Typically, as you guys know, we'd be done by the end of June. In our finals this year, we're done. I think if we had 7 games, it would be July 22nd. But we're going to have to do a shorter off season, a bit of a shorter off season, if we're going to get back on schedule. Because if we start late and then go late again, obviously in the next summer, this will just continue. And we think in terms of fan interest, what our television partners are telling us is that we're better off completing our finals by the end of June.
I'm curious, since I understand TV partners because that's paying you, but he also said fan interest. I don't know of a single fan that wants to start in October, November during football season and wrap up by June. I don't know. Do you? 656 ESPN 656-3776. If your TV partners are telling you this is when they want the games, then obviously they're giving you all the money. So that's what they're going to end up doing. But I like the idea of the Christmas Day start. I mean, that's the unofficial start anyway. You know, what you see in November doesn't matter. What you see in December doesn't really matter. The NBA tells you Christmas matters because they own Christmas Day. I mean, it's kind of their unofficial kickoff. Why not shift the calendar, start that way? I don't know what the big deal is from a financial standpoint if you're a TV partner between June and July, other than obviously ratings are important and a lot of people go on vacation in July. Typically TV numbers drop in July, but they've been dropping anyway. But I do know the play-in games have had some of the highest ratings. That game the other night with Golden State had high ratings. I don't know why the commissioner, unless it's the TV partner saying, man, you got to start in October, why he is so adamant about another short off season to start on mid to late October.
I mean, I don't know any reason other than that's the way they've always done it, or for, you know what I mean? Like that's a big thing, right? Like, that's the way it's always been. And, things are scheduled that way. I don't know. I feel like the NBA is in the most unique spot when it comes to determining their schedule, like in the aftermath of all the shortened seasons because of COVID. And I'm with you. I think people already but preferred a different start date. But now I feel like people have kind of had that reality, although granted last season was finishing in October. I don't think they want to go back. I mean, I understand why the NBA would want to, but I do think people kind of like this just because it fits better. I mean, why would you're right. Like television ratings dip in July. I would rather fight July with the finals than fight the fall with the beginning of our season and fight football. You know what I mean? Like it's an easier fight to win in July.
Well, and again, I mean, football is dominant. More people watch Roger Goodell read names at the draft than what was that tweet the other day, Pledge? More people are watching Roger Goodell read names than watch the NBA play-in game. I mean, we know football is king. They run every month of the season. And quite frankly, and I'm guilty of this, opening night, I'm all in for the Spurs. Maybe game 2. If there's a big matchup early, outside of that, it's pretty casual because football season is dominating what I'm watching on TV. If there's a Spurs game on a Sunday and an NFL game, I'm checking in on the Spurs, but I'm watching football. I mean, that's just the way it is. 72 games versus 82. Did you even notice a difference?
No. It's a lot of games. That's why. Like, it's negligible.
What about the play-in tournament? Do you think this should be here to stay?
I'm indifferent. Like, it was cool this year, don't get me wrong, but like part of the reason it was cool, the only reason it was cool was the Lakers-Warriors game. That's it. Like, it was cool to see Tatum go off, but if not for Los Angeles, Golden State, it would have just been like, meh, and you're not going to end up with those matchups every year. You're not going to end up with LeBron and Steph on one night. And not only was it that game, but that game just out of coincidence, it became this insane night, which I suppose could technically happen, but that isn't a sustainable model to me, and it will just end up being lame. I really feel.
I disagree. I think, the NBA got extremely lucky. Throw Boston and Washington in the play-in as well to have some marquee type matchups in this play-in. But I think it does, especially if you're 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11 or 12, and you've got a chance to get into the play-in tournament. It gives your fan base something to root for. It gives players reasons to play down the stretch as opposed to resting. And we did see that. I mean, you could see, teams like, the Lakers and LeBron bitching about having to play in that and saying it's not fair and somebody should get fired. The Mavericks were saying that a couple of weeks ago when it looked like they could be in it. But you know what the Mavericks did? They won a bunch of games and they kept players on the court and they got themselves out of it. So I do think, when you're looking at a potential 6, 7, 8 seed, maybe 5, depending on where you are in the standings, those teams are going to battle hard down the stretch to avoid being in the play-in game, while others are trying to play their way into it. So I do think it adds a lot of competitive play on the basketball court over the final couple weeks of the season because things aren't set in stone.
I suppose. I mean, I'm not saying that that's impossible. I think that's the best possible outcome, right? Is that we've added all this intrigue. It's a play-in game. And there was this also even the Lakers Warriors game, which was epic, there still wasn't like there was a sense of like, okay, so what? The Warriors lost. Fine, they'll go crush the Grizzlies. You know what I mean? Or like, like that thought is still in your mind. So like, there is really not this like massive consequence game, which is what you want. I mean, it sucks.
Unless, of course, your team is in it. And if two fan bases have something to root for, I don't know what the big number is going to be tonight on a Friday, but I imagine in the Bay Area and I imagine in Memphis, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on TVs tonight. Maybe not here, maybe not in Dallas, maybe not in New York, but in two markets, fan bases are going to be pretty interested to see. And Steph is a draw anyway. So if people aren't going out, they'll probably have their TV on. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Something that has never happened before that I'm aware of is happening to a local Texas high school. Meanwhile, colleges, the NCAA, and they had a high schooler sign $1 million pro contract. NCAA put on notice as well. We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you need your logo on gear, you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club down on San Pedro. And it's not just embroidery. He can do silkscreen shirts as well for any occasion, whether it's for a family reunion you have coming up, or maybe your workers wear T-shirts and they need some shirts printed. Get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you want your logo on gear, masks, shirts, jackets, caps, you name it, Sam can do it for you. Uniforms, Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or go visit that massive showroom on San Pedro. It's 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items do come with a warranty, and you'll work with Sammy on your project. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now. Call him 210-824-3900, 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The NBA playoffs are on ESPN San Antonio. Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom. Online at mellowmushroom.com. From the play-in to the finals, we've got you covered. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Do you feel stuck? Are you living in pain? This is Rob Thompson here for Arasti. I want you to call Arasti if you're dealing with injuries like sprains and pulls, those soft tissue injuries that just get in the way and won't let you go. Don't live your life thinking getting old sucks. It's not that. You need to get the problem fixed and the pain will go away. That's what Arasti does. Non-invasive procedure. I'm not talking about surgery or over-the-counter or prescribed medications to dull the pain. I'm talking about a medical professional getting in, manipulating your body, and ending the pain that has been slowing you down. So if you're dealing with a bad back or a pulled hamstring, or maybe you got a frozen shoulder or hip, plantar fasciitis in your feet, that hurts, Arasti can fix that. Or you got those tension headaches, go see an Arasti provider. They're all around San Antonio. You want to find one? Go to Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Go there to find where you need to go, or you can make the call. The number you need is 1-800-404-6050. Again, 1-800-404-6050. You can make that call knowing full well you don't need a referral. Call Arasti today. Get yourself out of pain. Go to Arasti.com. You'll see a map of all the providers. Do not let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call an Arasti provider today, and I'm sure you will thank me later.
Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Score points with some of the boldest keto-friendly, protein-packed, and low-carb snacks out there. And with their new Southern Recipe Small Batch 6-Bag Variety Pack, you'll get to choose a different flavored pork rind every time. Find Southern Recipe Small Batch at your local H-E-B, and you'll always have pork rinds ready to go. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
And Twin Peaks is honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Friday at our Bourbon and Brews party. Get to Twin Peaks Fridays from 5 to 7 p.m. to experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Cheers!
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just wanted to call in and find out when
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you suffer from lower back pain, knee pain, foot pain, or fallen arches? Do you? If yes, just stop and write this magic word, G-Defy. G-D-E-F-Y. What is G-Defy? G-Defy is the footwear designed by Gravity Defier Medical Technology with the worldwide patented VersoShock sole. Their shoes are clinically shown to relieve pain by a double-blind clinical study conducted by Olive View UCLA Medical Center. You can try a pair for 30 days with free corrective fit orthotic inserts. If you're not satisfied, just return the shoes for a full refund and keep the free orthotics as a gift. Put an end to suffering. Save $20 and get free shipping from Gravity Defier when you go to gdefy.com/radio and use code RADIO. That's gdefy.com/radio, code RADIO. You have nothing to lose but your pain.
You know, we've seen through the years college football players opt out of bowl games, the lesser bowl games, to prepare for the NFL draft, and it seems to always piss off the fan bases, but most of us understand why. But now we're seeing high schoolers opt out of their senior years of high school football because they've already made their college commitment. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Jason Minix. Down in the Houston area, Klein Cain High School, one of the top players in the country, Jadon Blue. He's one of the best running backs in the country, 82nd overall player in the ESPN Top 300. Had a hell of a year last year, and he's already committed to UT. He's going to be a Texas Longhorn. Well, he announced on Twitter late yesterday that he's going to skip his senior year of high school football to focus on training, to be ready for when he gets to UT as a freshman. And part of me, I don't, my first reaction is you can't do that. You can't, your high school team, you only get so many high school years. I understand injury, I understand wear and tear, all the reasons he gave, but you're only going to be a senior in high school once. He's the best player on that high school football team. Whatever goals they had, probably just took down a wrong. I imagine people in that locker room, while they might support him, they're pissed off at him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people who are probably upset, but I mean, I think if you look at his goals, his own individual goals, I mean, they could be compromised, right? Like if he has nothing to gain, I mean, it's hard to say do it so that everyone else can be happy. Like there's a level of selflessness involved there that is maybe not worth compromising your future potentially. And it might work out, but it might not. And it's hard to roll those dice for a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Last year, there were a handful of guys that opted out of playing, and it was because of COVID. So you take that into consideration? I don't know, and maybe it's happened in the past. I'm unaware of it, but I don't know that I've ever heard this before. A blue chip athlete gets his college commitment and says, "Okay, peace out, high school. I'm done. I'm done playing high school football." I remember when Kellen Mond left Reagan for his senior year at IMG Academy. That Reagan team was stacked with Kellen Mond. How far they could have gone in the playoffs, could they have won a state championship? Who knows? And we'll never know. But I know that Reagan was projected to make a hell of a run, but then Kellen went off to IMG. And I know what a lot of people said publicly, and I also know what a lot of people said privately about his decision. And it's, any public school, when you get a senior that transfers or a junior, you get, whether they're transferring to Cornerstone or wherever it might be, there is something about that high school that, if you've gone to middle school with all those guys and you go through high school, you all have your dreams, everybody's there, and then you opt out. And understand from a personal side, you've got to do what's best for you. The other part that I find interesting is UT said that they were aware that he was going to make this announcement. If UT or any colleges, I think, encourage this, the relationship between those recruiting and the Texas high school coaches could be fractured there too. I mean, that runs deep because, there is that level that you go with, and to do it now, after spring ball and everything that's gone on, it's kind of interesting. And then I look at, that's high school. In college today, or not in college, but something that will affect colleges. You have this one kid down in, I think he's in Florida, hell of a basketball player. What's his name? Scoot Henderson. He is a high school junior, a 5-star recruit out of Georgia. He is skipping his senior year and signing a contract with the NBA G League Ignite Elite team. According to Sham Sharania, it is a $1 million contract. Now, million versus, I don't know, geometry or English or whatever classes you would have to take as a freshman in high school. I'm taking the $1 million. Two Florida brothers, according to Woj, ranked in the top 15 high school juniors in the country, Matt and Ryan Booley. They're signing 2-year deals with the Overtime Elite Professional League, making the first prep underclassmen to sign contracts with an American basketball league. The colleges, especially college basketball, for those that want, and granted, the NBA has the 1-year rule, right? But when you look at all these kids that instead of going to college for a year, are they going to sign pro contracts? You have to wonder how the NCAA ultimately is going to adjust to be able to compete for the best athletes to get them on college campuses, even if it is just for a year. When you think about all the TV money, and, we all know that the wonderful president of the NCAA just reworked the NCAA tournament contract for damn near nothing. It's a lot of money, but he could have gotten so much more. But if the best players end up going to these other professional leagues or the G League, NCAA basketball isn't going to be what it's been. Will it continue to be that kind of a draw to earn and garner the kind of TV revenue that it gets now?
Fair questions. These are all fair questions. And I think everyone agrees with you in saying, yeah, I would take $1 million or whatever, because they could see that, right? Like, it's $1 million. It's right in front of your face. And so you say, well, how can you turn it down? It's $1 million. But I think for a lot of these guys, like, while the $1 million isn't there right now, the path that is, staying in high school, staying in college, whatever, represents like burning the $1 million, right? Like, and you can, I'm not at all trying to poo-poo the path of education. Education is so important in all of our lives, but I think I certainly can't speak for anybody, but I think that these people feel like, well, I can always go back. I can get my high school diploma. I can get my GED. I can get my degree, like whatever. I can always go back, but I have a finite amount of time where I can do this and I can earn this for myself and my future family. And so I'm going to do that. And I think I don't mean this like to start this debate, but like the answer is you've got to give them a reason to stay, and degrees aren't enough anymore to these to people. They're they want more.
They want more. And again, when you put $1 million in front of somebody, or even, I mean, it's in the news all this week about, money that may or may not have ended up in Zion's parents' accounts, and, the different shoe money. I know that the NIL, the image and likeness deal is coming to college sports, but you wonder if that's going to be enough. The NCAA is now going to have to start competing, at least in the basketball world, with the G League that can pay this other league that, was starting up. There's been guys that have gone straight to Europe because not everybody's made for college. But most of these guys, whether they're made for college or not, or want the college experience, when you're talking about that kind of money, I wouldn't blame anybody from turning it down. I'd almost say it's foolish because, you're on a projection to not only get that million, but then when you get to the NBA, the many more millions that come with it. And you're right. The idea of, I'll go back and get that done. I'll go back and get that done. Now, I'm guilty of that. When I dropped out of college, I swore I was going to go back, and I haven't yet. But there's that, the idea of the ability to do that. I think about baseball. When they get a player drafted straight out of high school, part of that is 8 semesters of college that they're going to pay for. I know a lot of guys that have gone right out of high school, played pro baseball, single A, double A, whenever their baseball days ended, they still had their college paid for. They could go back. I think of one kid named Bradley George, late 90s, baseball player at New Braunfels Canyon, pitched a couple years in the minors in the Reds organization, and then went back and he played football, was a quarterback again there at Texas State. I'll never forget David Bailiff saying, yeah, I've never had my quarterback buy a house next door to me. But you know what? Bradley George was able to do that. I do know a lot of those guys do go back, but I do see an issue coming for the NCAA when that kind of money is offered and a kid has got to make a decision. College basketball or $1 million? $1 million is going to win 9 out of 10 times.
Well, and I think now you have examples that support every cause or every case or every hypothetical, right? Like you've got your Jalen Smiths, right? Like look what happened to him. And even Jalen is like an example. Like he still got drafted, still was a 2nd round pick, but like how much money did he lose, whatever. I mean, like look at Trevor Lawrence, like the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft this year. Like from the moment Clemson beat Alabama, he was the #1 overall pick. You know what I mean? And he, thank God for his sake, played out the rest of his college career. Wasn't injured, didn't lose anything in terms of endorsements or potential, still went #1 overall. But like, think about it. I mean, he went, if like Trevor Lawrence, if we want to play like fun hypothetical, if he'd been allowed to enter the NFL at that point, the Arizona Cardinals had the #1 overall pick that year versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like how different would his life be if he had been in the NFL for 2 years now or whatever? I mean, you get my point. Like, but like Trevor Lawrence is an example where he had to stay, he did, and it still technically worked out for him. But there's a lot of people who get hurt or whatever the case may be that doesn't end up being necessarily the case for them. And that's unfortunate. And so, yeah, I don't blame any person or any parent who wants their child to say, you know what, just you'll come back later. You'll get that degree later. You only have 10, 15 years if you're lucky to make money at this level. Go do it and we'll figure the rest out.
It's good. It definitely is interesting. And, from the college part to, the kid in high school skipping his senior year of high school football. I know, I could only imagine Coach Taylor on Friday Night Lights if Smash would have come in and said, Coach, I'm not going to play my senior year. I've got my commitment in hand. I'm ready to go. I can only imagine what that next couple of scenes would have been like on Friday Night Lights, but it's playing out at a high school down in Houston. If he's the first, you wonder about other top elites who already have their college commitments. They know where they're going. Will they continue to play their senior years of high school football? It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. The Cowboys keep bringing in quarterbacks for interviews, but none of them are getting signed. What's up with that? And Drew Pearson with a major Hall of Fame announcement. We'll tell you about it as we continue here on the Blitz.
I'm Justin Tatro, official organist of the Texas Rangers, and this is your home for Rangers baseball. 1250 AM and 94.5 FM, ESPN San Antonio. Where you
you going? If you're not headed to Twin Peaks, turn your car around. Get over there right now. Twin Peaks is hosting their happy hour as we sit. It's a bourbon and brews kind of day. Head in and enjoy small batch craft-made bourbons, the very best. They've got them at Twin Peaks. You want a nice drink made? The mixologist behind the bar is going to make you a spectacular drink. So when you order that beer, you know it's coming to you at 29 degrees cold. The kitchen's putting out scratch foods, lots of snackables, lots of pairs to be had when you head into Twin Peaks to watch Cyborg versus Smith tomorrow night. They've got it going on. Cyborg versus Smith. You got a 360 degrees of TVs. Great food to be had. It is Twin Peaks. A weekend is here. The pairing is perfect. Head over and enjoy happy hour today. Go and enjoy some fine Bellator tonight. Cyborg versus Smith. Twin Peaks, 3 great locations. They're waiting on you. Head over, enjoy a fine meal with friends of like mind. Have yourself a great poured drink, whether it's a beer or mixed. It's going to be made perfectly and cold for you. But why do we go? It's those scenic views.
Engagement ring shopping is enough of a challenge for your average guy, but try doing it while on a ship deployed hundreds of miles away.
My name's Andrew. I'm a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy.
Andrew wanted to propose to his girlfriend when he returned, so he reached out to Diamonds Direct via email.
They had really great reviews while looking online, so I shot him an email telling him my story, that I was gone out at sea, wouldn't be back for 6 months. I gave her kind of my price range, and she was able to send me pictures and information about many different rings, and then I made my choice and picked it out.
Andrew made arrangements for a friend to bring him the ring as soon as his ship docked, and the proposal turned out to be a huge event.
And then the moment I walked off the brow onto the pier, my girlfriend was standing there, which is when I dropped to a knee and proposed to her. It was great. Hundreds of people there on the pier, and we were actually featured on the news.
Diamonds Direct.
They're extremely military friendly. If you're in the Navy and like me looking for an engagement ring, Diamonds Direct is an excellent place to go. They're going to take care of you.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, your home to 7 days a week happy hour. Come eat, drink, and socialize safely at all 4 Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar locations. And now you can join us bright and early at the newest location, Slackers Medical Center. Now opens at 7 a.m. to serve our valued medical community. Nurses, doctors, frontline workers, and staff, we thank you. Slackers Medical Center at Fredericksburg and Medical Drive. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 area locations to quench your thirst.
The next generation of auto detailing is here. 303 Graphene Nano Spray Coating. Simplicity meets a new level of performance. Get a year of protection from a powerful graphene oxide formula. A formula that sends water flying off paint, wheels, and trim. Go beyond wax, beyond ceramic. Be part of the future of exterior protection with Graphene Nanospray Coating from 303. For more information, head to 303radio.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minix. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson as we take you up till 7 o'clock tonight. Then we'll have some play-in basketball later on ESPN San Antonio, Golden State, and Memphis, brought to you by our friends at Mellow Mushroom. Got some baseball over the weekend, Rangers and Astros. Our Rangers coverage brought to you by New Breaks. So RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com. Some interesting Cowboys news is, they keep bringing in quarterbacks seemingly unhappy with what they currently have as a backup quarterback. Let's see who could be better. So they bring in Jeff Driscoll. And I read the Dallas Morning News says, hey, man, Driscoll, man, he's going to sign. It was a good meeting. He doesn't sign. He actually signs with the Houston Texans, who now have 31 quarterbacks, it seems, on their roster. Then Brett Hundley. Oh, Brett Hundley won an Alamo Bowl, drafted by the Packers, spent some time with the McCarthy up there in Green Bay, and then he was in Seattle with Russ, and he's in for visit. Man, really good visit. I haven't heard him sign a deal yet. In fact, I'm hearing now through bloggingtheboys.com that he's not going to sign with the Dallas Cowboys.
It appears as if that is the case. Look, I mean, let's be honest. If that goes down, the Cowboys are doomed anyway. Like, we could have Pledge up there. No offense, Pledge. And
I'd rather have James Pledger than Ben DiNucci.
That's a weird way to compliment Pledge, but
I'd rather have RJ Ochoa than Ben DiNucci. My goodness, I can fumble a snap too, and I'd get to wear a star on my helmet. I'd rather have me than
the screen
Ben
game would be
DiNucci.
awesome with me.
Pledge would have the most awkward warm-ups. Like, Pledge would be doing some stuff that like nobody'd ever seen before, and they'd be like, "What's he doing?" And he'd be just like, "Nah, this is how I get loose." But I think
we know Pledge is at least posting his workout video, so we know he's in shape in case he gets the call.
That's right. All up on his Instagram. But I think they're just checking out camp arms. I mean, they have Garrett Gilbert. People forget they have Cooper Rush. They have the Nooch. I mean, seriously, like, they have three camp arms.
I forgot.
Well, all right, so I mean, they've got camp arms. Do they have a legitimate number 2 quarterback? Now,
who does?
I am a firm believer that you only need 2 quarterbacks on your roster. You don't need a third quarterback. Now, with no Driscoll, no Brett Hundley, that still keeps hope alive for an RG3 signing to bring him home, let him wear a star on his helmet. A high school star, Copperas Cove High School, Baylor won a Heisman Trophy. Let him wear a star on his helmet, and again, he's proven to be a legit backup quarterback, and that's what he would be. He's been backing up Lamar, and if he could stay healthy, he played well when he got to play in place of Lamar there with the Baltimore Ravens. And I'd rather have an RG3 than a DiNucci than a Cooper Rush. I do like Garrett Gilbert. I don't know if he's practice squad eligible. I liked what he did at the Alliance. I remember talking to Steve Spurrier heading into the Commanders Apollos game about the mental makeup that Garrett Gilbert offered. In fact, Steve Spurrier said, look at everything this kid went through. Nothing phases him, especially out there on the football field. Talked about his mental toughness. He looked good last year when he had the opportunity to play, but if Dak were to get hurt and you need him for 2 or 3 games, I don't know that he could carry you to a win. I do think RG3 could help carry you to a win over a short period of time.
So, and believe me, I'm not trying to lead the Garrett Gilbert brigade by any means, but RG3 looks good, is your assessment here. He started 1 game last year, which was in Pittsburgh, which was delayed like a week because of all the COVID situations. He was 7 of 12 for 33 yards and threw an interception. In what? This is Ben DiNucci territory, like, statistically.
I mean, but again, the other part of it too.
And he had a fumble. He had 2 turnovers in this game.
It wasn't that last year was not a good outing for RG3, but the other 2 years, and I haven't looked at numbers, but I have seen him play, and I believe he did get hurt in that game that he got to play in last year.
He did.
If I remember right, it was very poor weather. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of rain. and he hurt his hammy on a run play. But that's beside the point. The other thing that a backup quarterback does is helps a starter get ready. And RG3, by all accounts, all accounts, great in the locker room, great at film study, and really helped Lamar in helping prepare Lamar Jackson as the starter from what he was seeing in the film room. And if that is truly the case, then, I think that's an upgrade over certainly Danucci. Cooper Rush is apparently a good film guy. He and Jason Garrett, they watch film the same way. But he's out there. And if the price is right, and I've got to believe price has got to be one of the issues why a Driscoll and a Hundley kept moving, is the Cowboys are looking for minimum salary guys. And RG3, with his years in the league, even his minimum might be more than what they want, which might be the reason why he hasn't even come in for an interview yet.
I also think, and we live in a bit of a different time now that Dak Prescott has this contract. There's no like, remember last year when they signed Andy Dalton, it was like, oh no, what does this mean? Like, because of the fact that he didn't have a deal. I mean, I'm with you. Like, philosophically, I don't want a third quarterback. I also don't want a second quarterback who thinks he's the first quarterback. And that's something with RG3. Like, I want a backup quarterback who knows the role. That's why guys like Brian Hoyer and Chase Daniel are so beloved and valuable around the NFL, is they get that role. And I mean, it's been a while since RG3 has kind of been that way where he's accepted it. And Lamar obviously played to the level that he did in 2019 to kind of force that hand. But I think that's, I wish RG3 all the best, but I think that's maybe flirting with the creation of a problem when you don't have to.
I will disagree with you in the sense that I think RG3 understands at this point in his career he is a backup quarterback. In fact, he said as much several weeks ago when he was here on the Blitz talking about David Culley becoming the new head coach of the Houston Texans. He was Culley obviously coming from the Baltimore Ravens. I think RG3 understands where his career is at right now, and his only role in the National Football League is that of a backup quarterback, and not a position to go compete for a starting job. He didn't say any of that when he was on with us in the Blitz. But I do find it interesting that the Cowboys do keep rolling in various quarterbacks, which does kind of indicate they're not happy with what they currently have in the room as a potential number 2 quarterback, because they're bringing in guys that would be legit backups, not just training camp arms. If they were just bringing in guys that had played quarterback at some point in college, you could call that a training camp arm. What they're bringing in, they're looking for a legit number 2.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it. They went that route last year, and I hate to say it paid off, but like they ended up needing that player, and he was serviceable in the sense, or in the way a backup quarterback can be, to the point that he actually was signed to be a starter this year, albeit for like a month. But so nobody they have right now could start in the NFL. Jeff Driscoll started in the NFL somewhat recently. RG3 did technically out of necessity. But yeah, I mean, I like exploring. I mean, this is the time of year. If you're this is the time, pick up every rock, look under it, whatever. Just look into stuff so that you're not left with your pants down when the important time comes.
In other Cowboys news, Hall of Famer Drew Pearson has selected Hall of Famer Roger Staubach to be his presenter at his Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement coming up in August. They announced it officially yesterday on Twitter. And what was cool is the photo of Roger and Drew, and they exchanged autographed footballs to each other. I can't imagine how many different things they have with each other's signature on it, just from the Hail Mary days. I know Drew, when he wrote the book Hail Mary, he took all the book covers over to Roger's house. I remember hearing this story, and Roger signed them all, and then Drew had to sign them all, and Roger basically just signs his name, and Drew's up to writing Hail Mary and all the other stuff on there. He has to do a whole lot more writing for less money than what Roger gets for just putting the Roger Staubach 12 on there. But as it only should be, Roger inducting Drew Pearson, being the presenter.
I wrote about this too at the site, and I think it's cool anytime we see any presenter, right? Like, it's awesome when these guys choose, like, their parents or their children or even their agents, like, because they're people that were important in their lives and in their careers. And so it's always interesting. But as like a football fan, as a Cowboys fan, it's just a little extra special when they choose like their teammates and people they were closely aligned with, like in this sense, obviously a receiver choosing his quarterback. It's what you want. Like, it's what you dream about, when you're watching teams play. So very cool. Roger's a sneaky, clever guy. Like, people don't really think of Roger Staubach as too, like, charismatic behind the microphone, but he's going to have a really great, like, one-liner about the Hail Mary. I'm very positive of that.
When Drew went into the Hall of Fame, or it was officially announced that he got the knock on the door, and when Drew came on the Blitz, and I asked him who would present him, and I assumed it would be Roger. And Drew was uncommittal at that point. I don't think there was ever any fear that Roger would say, no, I don't want to do that. But Drew talked about trying to pick which one of the kids was going to present him. And so in some ways, I think Drew took the easy way out. Sorry, kids, none of you are doing it. I'm not picking one over the other. It's going to be Roger, as it should be.
Very exciting. Very cool. The only cooler one that I could have ever imagined, and he didn't choose him. He wound up choosing Jerry Jones. It would have been so awesome if Emmitt Smith had chosen Darryl Johnston. Just like, you led me through my entire career. Now lead me in. Like that. That's the one thing, like, when I think of like ideal partnerships. But he gave the Moose, an incredible shout out in his speech, and that works out. But that would have been pretty sick. One of the coolest things I've ever seen was the class of 2007. Longtime legendary Cleveland Browns offensive lineman Gene Hickerson, who was very ill at the time of his enshrinement and couldn't speak. He was wheeled out by Jim Brown and Leroy Kelly and Bobby Mitchell. And they said, he blocked for us to get us into here, and he's going to lead us in one more time. It's that whole 2007 class when Michael Irvin went in was a really emotional night. You had Charlie Sanders talking to his mom, and then Roger Worley giving a shout out to Bart Starr. Very cool class, but very cool moment with Gene Hickerson.
Absolutely. And, in 20 years or whatever, Trevor's going to go into the Hall of Fame. But how close was Jacksonville to fumbling away that first overall pick because they almost ran out of time? In the backstory, we'll talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz.
100% sports, 100% of the time. That's 200% sports.
Your math is blowing my mind.
San Antonio's sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
What are you doing this weekend? Well, if you'd already gone to Alamos Cycleplex and picked up one of those toys, your plans would already be made because you'd be heading out to the great unknown, whether it's paved, dirt, or on the water, whether it's 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, it's all fun, and it can all be found out at Alamos Cycleplex. Now, Bike Night's coming up soon. It'll be June the 2nd, but what I want you to do is head over to Alamos Cycleplex today, this weekend. Take your family and go get that toy, that thing that you have earned. You deserve it. You've worked for it. Now go get it. We're talking slingshots, cycles, 4x4s, ATVs. You want it? They've got it. And the service to back it up and the salespeople that'll help you take care of it. Easy financing to be had. A great facility to be seen. Alamos Cycleplex is over on De Zavala and I-10. They are waiting on you. Remember, the fun starts there, but it cannot start until you go get that toy. Go see Dave Sears and Alamos Cycleplex today. Your weekends will be fantastic, and you will thank me later.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Ty Pennington with Guaranteed Rate. When building a house, you have to get the math exactly right. Something feel off center? Check the math. Same thing with your mortgage. How much could you save switching from a 30 to a 15-year fixed? Check the math. You won't believe how much you could save on interest payments. Let's just say it's some good math. Refi at rate.com. That's rate.com.
Savings, if any, vary subject to credit approval. Call 866-924-7283 for cost information. Equal housing letter, NMLS ID 2611, and NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is your HelloFresh mini break. There will be no grocery store crowds today, or figuring out what's in the fridge. You already chose from over 25 chef-created recipes this week. There will be a HelloFresh box on your doorstep, filled with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients that, in as little as 20 minutes, will become restaurant-quality meals. And giving yourself a break is back on the table.
Go to HelloFresh.com/Sky12 and use code Sky12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Sky12, code Sky12.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts recommend all the best products to get the job done right. Like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil on sale now, just $28.95. And we'll make sure you have all the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pan, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Allstate is known for quality insurance, but you might not know them for low rates. That's about to change. With Allstate, you can save up to 25% when you bundle your home and auto. You know what else you might not know? The chicken came before the egg. With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company, and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
You know, every year after the draft, some teams like the Cowboys instantly get videos out of what the phone calls were like, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. The Jacksonville Jaguars a little late in doing that, maybe because they were so busy preparing everything for Tebow Mania, who, by the way, officially signs and has all the top-selling stuff, all 5 categories at the NFL shop: jerseys, T-shirts, men's jerseys, ladies' jerseys, kids' jerseys, men's shirts, ladies' shirts. Tebow Mania, insane. Anybody surprised by that? Are you surprised by that?
No. What I am surprised by is that the Jaguars didn't do this like 8 years ago when everybody was imploring them to. Remember when they were having television blackouts? You know what I mean? People said, like, sign Tebow, just like, set to sell out your stadium. And like, it would have made, I don't know that it would have made sense, but it would have made more sense at least then, as opposed to what it does now.
True, but, so you've got Tim Tebow, and unlike some of the people on the morning TV talking shows, I don't think that people are going to be chanting for Tebow to play quarterback if Trevor struggles. I don't think it's going to be an issue for Trevor Lawrence, although your number 1 overall pick is now being overshadowed by a guy that hasn't played in a long time and has never played tight end. But the idea that the Jaguars almost screwed up getting the call in, and it's an interesting backstory, because if you run out of time, you actually forfeit your pick, which I believe happened to Minnesota a couple of years ago. They forfeited their pick. Well, according to their YouTube series called The Hunt, the Jaguars were told by the NFL, wait 7 minutes before you turn in the card. Everybody knows it's going to be Trevor, but we got to start the draft, be on the clock. Wait 7 minutes. Well, they waited their 7 minutes, then they started calling Trevor Lawrence, and dude didn't answer his phone.
Hey, come on, this is the longest 10 minutes of my life. Well, when the league called, they said you have to wait 7 minutes to turn in the card. So we didn't pick up the phone to call him. We just sat there, and he's sitting on his end wondering why we haven't called him.
We were past 6 minutes when, we're ready to turn it in, and then there was the setup.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voice.
We started calling and getting a recording. so, and there you're seeing the clock tick away, and then let's try it again, get the same recording. And so after about 3 tries, it's like, we're getting nervous. And, Urban said, I'm getting on my cell phone right now.
Hello? Trevor. What's up, Coach? How you doing, brother? I'm good. I'm anxious. Well, we're about to make you the first overall pick in Jaguar football history. Congratulations to you, Marissa, and your family. Thank you, Coach. I'm pumped. Let's go.
Hey, Trevor. Congratulations. We're so pumped.
I'm just as excited. I'm excited to get down there, and man, the whole family's here, so it's awesome.
Can you imagine the GM calling 3 times and it's going straight to voicemail? You would think they'd work on that stuff ahead of time, like, hey, we're going to be calling from this number. Yet you might want to pick up.
I just want to say beyond that, because you're right, Urban Meyer completely wrong in that statement. Like he said, we're going to make you the first overall pick in Jaguars history. What? The Jaguars have drafted hundreds of players.
Well, but the first overall, was that the first time they've ever had the number 1 overall pick?
Yes, but in a literal sense, he was not the first overall pick in Jaguars history. He was the first overall pick in Jaguars history, but Urban said the first overall pick. If the Baltimore Ravens had said that to Jonathan Ogden, okay, cool. You're literally the first overall pick in Baltimore Ravens history. But, that's not the case you and Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, but I think Urban Meyer is realizing that there was no Jag history before he showed up. So in his mind, the history starts now.
Okay.
To think that Urban wouldn't bend the truth on the recruiting trail, of course. I mean, it is what it is. I just can't believe that they took so long to get the card in and then almost screwed it up. What if the clock had run out because they keep getting voicemail? And brings the question, do you have to talk to the kid before you turn in the card? Is that an NFL rule?
No, you don't. So they could have just turned the card in and then just, talk to him after, I suppose.
I mean, but they seem to have been really sweating out of the clock running out because they waited the 7 minutes. Which
all I know is if Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a deal with a phone carrier by now, what are we doing? You know what I mean? There's got to be something done here. Oh yeah, I've got Sprint because I don't want to miss my draft day call or whatever.
Yeah, that was bad. And then Urban had to use his own because he's got Urban's number in his phone. But whatever conference room number they were calling from, that certainly wasn't there. Just kind of a bizarre scenario. It is the Blitz 1250 ESPN San Antonio. The NBA playoffs officially start this weekend. We'll talk about it as we continue here on ESPN San Antonio.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Jason Minix here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. The security system in my home is from BSG. The video cameras, video doorbell, and other features are fantastic. You can get the BSG smart home security system, including a free video doorbell for as low as $39.95. And their video doorbell is incredible. It comes with video analytics, which means you can control how you get notified from your doorbell. Unlike other video doorbells, BSG has the most advanced video video doorbell on the market that can tell the difference between a human, vehicle, and an animal. Also, its touchless feature keeps everyone clean and safe. The picture quality and reliability of their smart video doorbell is absolutely amazing. BSG is San Antonio's home technology company, a great local company built on trust, quality, and safety. They are the best in the industry. Call 210-877-1222 or online at bsgtexas.com.
If your dream vacation does not include your spouse, it might be time for a permanent getaway. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
It's all about getting the most out of summer. And with Certified Refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy 100% of summer with up to 50% savings on top brands. So tackle your to-do list and break out the playlist with like new products from the brands you love, including Bose, Works, iRobot, and more. Complete with a 2-year warranty from Allstate. Time to go full on summer with half off top brands this year. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay today.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
ESPN San Antonio, all day, every day. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM, KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minix, Rob Thompson. Of course, he took a Friday off. So RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys and our original Rock the Mic champ is sitting in for Rob on this Friday. Hour to go in the show. And then later on tonight, we'll have the final NBA play-in game, Memphis and Golden State. You can listen to that one here on ESPN San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. And then this weekend, we'll have more NBA playoffs. They are set. You know, you'll get the final entrant, which I'm going to go Golden State, getting in as the 8th seed tonight. But with that, RJ, time to call our shots on who's going to be playing in late July and hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy. But I want to do it a different way because, you know, saying who we think is going to win is fun. So who do you think is going to win? But who do you want to win? Which two teams, one from the West, one from the East, obviously shock the world kind of stuff, but would you want to see playing in the NBA Finals? I'll ask RJ, I'll ask Pledge, I'll ask you as well. You can dial us up on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, or on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Tweet at me at Jason Minix or at I Am Pledger to reach James Pledger, who will be on tomorrow morning with Jack Thompson from 9 to 11 for the Saturday morning hangover. So, RJ, who do you got getting to the finals and winning it all? Who do you want in the NBA Finals and winning it all?
Well, I want to be the first person to say on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the road at ESPNSA.com, KZDC, to say today, again, I want to be the first to say, I believe, Bear trying to beat me there, that the Los Angeles Lakers and Brooklyn Nets will be the teams playing in the NBA Finals, and that the Los Angeles Lakers will win it. So let the record reflect that I'm the first person here to say that. Congratulations to me and all my genius for being correct. That being said,
although for the record, check the tape. You were the first person to say that in the 6 o'clock hour.
Oh, so we're just going to let the whole audience know what we talked about earlier. Wow. Okay.
If you go back to 4:15 and you're reading what I wrote on the page as an example, which is fantastic NBA analysis. I mean, just knock it out. Read what I wrote. Go ahead.
That being said, Yes, we did talk about this 2 hours ago, and I have changed my mind about who I want to see in. All right, I reserve the right to change. I'm a free spirit. I can move as the wind moves. So my dream NBA Finals.
Hold on, time out. So you're going all Mel Kiper here, or you're just going to put out 36 different mock drafts? So at some point you could say you're right. At some point you're going to have audio of you saying whoever actually wins because you just keep changing your mind.
No, because I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind about what I want, not my prediction. All right, my prediction's on the record. This is just what I want has changed. All right, because Pledge and I were talking during one of the breaks because Pledge and I we're still working during the breaks. All right, that's how we roll. Right, we're talking, we're discussing, etc. And so I'm not going to take your Western Conference team, Pledge. Don't worry about that. But on the West, I maintain that I want the Denver Nuggets in. I'm excited about this prospect. I was the only person who brought them up in the 4 o'clock hour, by the way, so true shout out to me. But in the East, let's go Boston. Pledge and I have Celtic shorts, all right? The true original team of the Saturday morning hangover. Let's get Tatum in there. And, I once made a great Photoshop of myself and Pledge's faces over Tatum and Gordon Hayward. That can't totally come to fruition anymore, but still, Pledge and I are OG Celtics, and I want to see that happen.
I just am still concerned that you boys share a pair of shorts, but
we
that's
don't. We
beside
each
the
have
point.
a pair. We each have a pair of Boston Celtics shorts. I have the green ones. Pledge has the white ones. Very simple thing here.
Okay, because you just said you share a pair of shorts, which I found to be a little concerning. We bought them to
support the team of the Saturday morning hangover, which was the Boston Celtics. Is the Boston Celtics.
All right, Pledge.
All right, so I think the NBA Finals will be the Nets and the Denver Nuggets. I think it's way too difficult coming out of the 7. LeBron's ankle, now his eye, Anthony Davis's injuries all year. I think it's going to be too hard of a road for them to get through the Western Conference unscathed this year. And they haven't played together very much lately. I just think at some point that's going to affect them against some of those upper echelon teams. And it may be in the first round against the Phoenix Suns. I think the Nuggets will be playing the Nets. And I think the Nets will win it. But I think Denver is one of the most complete teams in the Western Conference in terms of you got the possible MVP in Jokic. You've got all these players surrounding him. I know they lost Murray, but they've got Michael Porter Jr., who's a scoring machine. They made the trade for Aaron Gordon, which helped them both offensively and defensively. I just think there's so much on that Nuggets team, and I think they're going to surprise some people in this postseason. What I want to happen is I want to see what was long in contention to be the team of the Saturday morning hangover. The Valley of the Sun, the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul gets his way into the finals, gets a chip, stays healthy for once. It's a team that's played well over their head. We saw it in the bubble. The addition of Chris Paul and his leadership has only elevated that team this season. And I'd like, in order to support my friend and former Saturday morning hangover co-host, I'd like to see them face off against last year's MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks with their additions of Holiday this offseason. I think they've got some things, and they need to save Mike Budenholzer's job.
You look at that. Okay, so I'm lost here. A quick recap. You think? Just give me team names. I think
Nuggets, Nets with the Nets winning. I want Suns, Bucks with the Suns winning.
Okay, good. All right. So I think Lakers are going to do this and come from the 7th seed and beat the Nets. And I say that with the caveat: LeBron has to stay healthy. LeBron can't get unhealthier than he already is. If Anthony Davis gets hurt, I think LeBron can still carry this team. If Anthony Davis is hurt and misses a game or two, LeBron gets hurt, this thing is over. But I think for his story, his legacy, all of it, that it would just be incredible. I want the Sixers and Utah Jazz. Pledge, I agree with you on everything you said about the wanting with the Phoenix Suns. I almost went that route. There's just something about Chris Paul and that I just don't
game
like.
7 shot, right?
And maybe all the maybe it's his twin in the commercials. I don't know. There's just something about CP3 that I want to keep. I want to keep that guy ringless. But Utah reminds me so much of the San Antonio Spurs in the early days. And they are just such a complete basketball team. And their sixth man of the year, Jordan Clarkson from San Antonio. If the Spurs ain't going to get a ring, let a ring reside in the 2-1-0. And it could with Jordan Clarkson. From the Philadelphia Sixers standpoint, I like Doc Rivers. Always have liked Doc Rivers from when he played for the Spurs, when he was a Spurs broadcaster here, to the fact that he was with the LA Clippers and gave a half a peace sign to Kawhi Leonard out the door, goes to Philadelphia and has an opportunity to go win a championship. And that means Kawhi doesn't get one. I'm certainly down for that. So I think my prediction, Lakers over Nets. My want, Sixers over the Utah Jazz.
How badly do you want it?
I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep if they don't. Trey Gaines on Facebook says Lakers, Warriors in the West Finals, Nets, Sixers in the East. So many storylines with that. Do you imagine if it was the Lakers and Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, the 7-8 seeds, if that were to happen? That would be ridiculous if that were to happen. Although certainly a lot of fun.
I do also want to bring up on the subject of the Suns, because Pledge brought up what was almost our Suns. And I don't know how well you know this, Jason. I know you're the biggest Saturday morning hangover fan that there is. But the only reason that
is there a show on Saturday morning?
The only reason that the Phoenix Suns did not become the team of the Saturday morning hangover was because Ja Morant went to the Grizzlies. If Ja Morant had ended up a member of the Suns, they would have been our team. And we were very excited about this because I'm a big Devin Booker fan, and Pledge was all in on Ja Morant, and we were having a great time with it. But if Ja Morant had wound up with Phoenix, is Chris Paul on this team?
Probably
not.
That's a really interesting ripple effect, and would they be this good?
That is a great question. I mean, because I do think Chris Paul deserves a ton of credit for what we've seen with the Phoenix Suns this year, along with the coach of the year in Monty Williams. But, that was such a good, young, fun team that we saw down there in the bubble. The leadership of Chris Paul, just elevating them. It will be interesting to see because, there's young teams that just aren't ready for the moment. And you've got to go through some playoff hurt to get there. And I do think Chris Paul eliminates some of that because, my goodness, is there anybody who's had more playoff misery than Chris Paul? I mean, I know that list is long, but I mean, Chris Paul has had some devastating playoff losses. I mean, name everyone in Houston when every time they thought they were going to the NBA Finals and his hamstrings never made it past the second round. And you wonder if that same thing is going to happen this year.
I think it's a really interesting what if. I mean, sometimes it's hard to see what ifs, when they don't work out your way. It's easy to dream what ifs. Man, what if we'd ended up with that guy? But sometimes and I don't know, I'm not saying this is the best thing for the long-term future of the Suns, but this is really cool. And would Devin Booker have become I would, because he's become this ultra god out of necessity. You know what I mean? If Ja Morant was there, that wouldn't be the case.
It's going to be interesting and it's going to be fun. And with the Spurs not in it, just to sit back with, just interest in watching good basketball. You're not living and dying by every particular play. Maybe you're rooting against people not advancing. You're rooting against people from having good games. This NBA playoffs, and you look at the matchups. Even the play-in tournament has been a lot of fun to watch, and the play-in tournament's new. The schedule, the fact that we're going into July is certainly new this year. There's been a lot of interesting things in this very unique NBA season because of COVID. some of which are worthy of keeping around. The commissioner, Adam Silver, was on KJZ this morning and talked about what might stay, what might change, and I'll disagree with him on a couple of them. We'll talk about that. What do you want to keep? What do you want to keep from this weird season that you think should be a part of it going forward? We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. You know, it's a Friday night. You got your weekend plans. I'm going to guess none of you actually plan on going to jail, but some of you will. Or maybe it's not you, but you get a phone call from a family member or a friend that they got arrested. You want to get out of jail fast when you get arrested, or somebody you know gets arrested. You know the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. You can call 210-225-2121. You can text bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. And trust me, there's a lot of conditions there. Your best option is AA Best Bail Bonds for stress-free bail bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential, open 24/7 to get you out fast with offices all over San Antonio and Texas. So if you're down in the valley with RJ, you're down in Corpus, up in Dallas, anywhere in between, license number 149, AA Best Bail Bonds. Text bail to 474747. Call 210-225-2121 or just go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
Hey, don't get left out of the conversation.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if you did.
Follow us on Facebook at ESPN San Antonio and on Twitter at ESPN_SA.
And of course, on the go at ESPNSA.com.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes at USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority you.
Gotta finish this today.
Cristiano's construction projects typically run smoothly, but this project's pipeline is about to burst.
So, boss, where you want us to put this? To the left. Your other left. John.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If you're a bacon lover, I've got great news for you. This is Michael Kilbasa with Kilbasa Smoked Meats. Our authentic dry-cured bacon is now available at grocery stores near you. We make it the old-fashioned way with the finest pork bellies in our legendary spice blend. We don't pump it full of water or chemicals like other brands. All you get is thick, savory slices of delicious bacon. I hope you'll give it a try, and if it's not the best bacon you've ever eaten, I'll give you your money back. Kielbasa Smoked Meats, slow crafted in Texas since 1949.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The new Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed is the only bed that effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save $1,000 on the new Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed, Queen, now $17.99. Plus free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug. And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs. Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
So in this unique COVID season, in regards to the NBA, the different things, what did you like? What do you want to see stay? What are you ready to see leave? 656-ESPN, 656-3776 on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines. You can also get us on Twitter. He's at RJ Ochoa. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. You know, I bring that up, RJ, because Adam Silver was on KJZ this morning on ESPN Radio and obviously here on ESPN San Antonio. And he did say that he thinks the play-in tournament is here to stay, although there could be some tweaks to it. You know, the fairness game came up. And I think you do hit a home run when you got people bitching on both sides of the fence. I think that means you've done it right. You had LeBron complaining, saying whoever came up with this idea should be fired, although last year, when LeBron never thought he would be in a play-in situation, thought it was a great idea. You had the Dallas Mavericks complaining about it, but also the Mavericks played better down the stretch, played all their guys down the stretch to try to play their way out of having to be in the play-in tournament. So from that standpoint, wouldn't you say it worked, having the play-in tournament and two more fan bases, really three or four, had more interest in games down the stretch as the 11th or 12th seed than they would have if they knew there was no way they were going to get to the 8th seed. It kept competitive games through the end of the regular season.
I suppose. I mean, like, how are we defining interest? Like, were people watching a little bit more? Yes. But like, was it, I mean, do you really feel like there was a race for who's going to be in the play-in game? You know, like I almost kind of would prefer like a play-in tournament now that I think about it, because there's a little bit more like sustainability to that. Like the play-in game, like is this like poof, it's gone thing.
You know, that could be one of the tweaks. I'd like to see you spend some time over the weekend, you know, draw out what a play-in tournament would look like. Are we talking about a best of three? Is it round robin? Is there a point system? And I mean, they want to get through it quickly, but I do know when you're, trying to say get out of the 7th and get into the 6th so you're guaranteed in the playoffs, or the 5th, or if you're 11 trying to get in, or the positioning there, even from 9 and 10, if you get to 7 or 8, then you at least have two opportunities to make the real postseason, as opposed to being a one and done like what the Spurs were in the 9 and 10. And again, they'll tweak it, but I do think it's here to stay because more teams have an opportunity for the postseason. And it's nice in the sense that it's not a best of 3 or a best of 5 or a best of 7. And the NBA doesn't want, say, the first round to be a best of 3 or 5 because really good teams might get beat. In a best of 7, generally speaking, the better team is going to win. In a best of 3, all bets are off. And, I think you could almost say the best of 5. Plus, they're going to make more money in the idea of a best of 7 potential than if it were a best of 5, when you look at the number of guaranteed games and dollars and ticket sales and all of that. I like the play-in tournament. I think it's going to stay. I also like the idea of us finishing up the NBA Finals in July. About a week before the Cowboys are going off to training camp in Oxnard, California. If it goes 7 games, we're going to have an NBA champion. When it ends in June, you got like that 5-6 week period waiting for training camp to start. And if you're a baseball fan, if your team is out of it, you almost have nothing. It's that rare time where there's only one of the big 4 that are playing. And the NBA tells us already that Christmas Day is opening day. That's their big national TV kickoff. That's all their money is on the Christmas Day games. They own Christmas Day. But the commissioner on KJZ this morning said that they want to go back to a more traditional NBA calendar starting to mid to late October.
We're looking towards getting back on our regular schedule. The problem is, of course, it won't be as short an off season as there was coming into this season, where we finished in mid-October and then started again in Christmas. Typically, as you guys know, we'd be done by the end of June in our finals. This year we'll be done. I think if we had 7 games, it would be July 22nd. But we're going to have to do a shorter off season, a bit of a shorter off season, if we're going to get back on schedule. Because if we start late and then go late again, obviously in the next summer, this will just continue. And we think, in terms of fan interest, what our television partners are telling us is that we're better off completing our finals by the end of June.
I don't know what the fan interest is that he's talking about. I certainly could understand if the TV partner said that's what they want. Obviously, that's what they're going to do. But as a fan, for me, start this thing on Christmas and run it to July. And oh, by the way, 72 games seems to work. I'm not missing those other 10 games, and I don't think most people are. The only people that are missing them, the NBA owners and maybe the stadium arena workers that are missing out on 5 home games.
That's true. That's fair. I just had a great idea now that you were kind of laying all this out, like the July thing. We know that ESPN and ABC love brand synchronization, right? Like we know they love that, right? The finals are on ABC property, etc. Have the finals end like 3 days before the ESPYs. Boom. There's your lead into the ESPYs, baby. And you have all the ESPYs commercials during the finals. You have the winning team shows up. I mean, who doesn't love this? I mean, seriously. Like, you asked me to use the weekend to come up with something like, boom, I just gave you a gold ticket idea right here.
Well, and again, I mean, that certainly could work. I mean, you might not get the finals MVP at the ESPYs, but, but I like the idea of just start at Christmas, and fewer games means every game or more games have a higher level of importance. And an 82 game schedule, they put in rules, and mainly because of Pop, but they put in rules about resting guys in games because you realize in 82 you can afford to punt 4, 5, 10 of them. 72 games, maybe not as much. If they went down to 60. And I realize their business model and their financial projections are all based on 82, but make every game more important. I think that's one of the beauties of the National Football League or of the college football season. You can't take a game off. You never see an NFL team say, you know what, we're going to rest everybody this week. You know what, we're not going to play our quarterback. Yeah. He just needs a break. He's been playing a lot. They don't do that in the NFL because you can't afford to do that in the National Football League. In basketball, you can. In baseball, you can.
That's true. College football is an interesting example. But when was the last time, on the subject of this, that the Spurs lost a game? And for reasons like just related to like the loss, not like, you're frustrated at where the Spurs are going or not going, but that you were just like aching about it, like a regular season loss.
I don't follow your question.
So again, using college football as an example, like Texas loses to Oklahoma, that whole next week, your mood is impacted, right? Because of how valuable that game is. Like, when was the last time you remotely felt that way about a Spurs loss?
It's interesting question because it's the last 2 years as a Spurs fan has kind of sucked, but there were some, regular season losses to, either the Lakers or the Warriors the last couple of years that just put you in a bad mood. There were some losses this year. Was it Cleveland that beat us by 20 this year? I was pissed off for a good half day the following day. I couldn't believe that they lost at home by 20. Yeah, you're right. The weight of an NFL game or a college football game carries a lot more than an NBA game where you're going to be back on the court within a day or two. Where football, you get one a week, and if you're a Longhorn fan and you're losing to Oklahoma, that ruins your next week. If you're an Aggie fan losing to LSU, it's going to ruin your week. Especially when you lose a game you think you should win. You don't really have that in the NBA. It gears you up for the postseason. But every game needs to have more importance, matter more, and teams aren't going to rest. I don't like the idea of getting back to a mid-October start and finishing in June. I want it to start on Christmas Day. I do like the play-in deal. I hope it stays. In fact, the NBA playoffs right here on ESPN San Antonio, that final play-in game, the 8th seed will be decided tonight in the West. Golden State, Memphis pregame gets going at 7:30. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock here on ESPN San Antonio. Brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. They're online at mellowmushroom.com. You can order yourself a pizza. Get ready to listen to some NBA basketball tonight here on ESPN San Antonio. We all like things to be easy and convenient. New Brakes has done that with brake repair. Jason Minnick's here for New Brakes. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they will come to you to fix your brakes. They provide convenient and affordable brake repair, and they only fix brakes, so you won't get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They only use premium brake parts, and they do back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. So if your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, do us all a favor and get them fixed. Go to nubrakes.com and schedule that repair now. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. Whether you're busy at work, relaxing at the house, this weekend, golf on TV, you could be laying on the couch watching the PGA Championship while the dude's outside fixing your brakes, because they do have Saturday and Sunday appointments. They're great at what they do. Go read all their 5-star reviews and schedule your repair now at nubrakes.com for New Brakes. nubrakes.com.
The Texas Rangers play right here.
This is Joey Gallo of the Texas Rangers, your home for the Texas Rangers baseball. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Texas Rangers baseball on ESPN San Antonio is brought to you by New Brakes Mobile Brake Repair.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. 4hims.com/radio. That's right. Free, zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The new Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed is the only bed that effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save $1,000 on the new Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen, now $17.99. Plus free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. Get a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Right now, get the Kubota Z400 mower for 0 down and 0% APR for 48 months or save $300 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just want to call in and find out when next.
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You know why women love Diamonds Direct? Because they can always get a ring they're proud to wear.
I was able to get everything, the most perfect diamond I could ever want. It's just my dream ring that I thought I would never be able to afford.
You cannot beat the value that Diamonds Direct gives you.
It kind of took my breath away when I did see how big that diamond was.
You have to put your sunglasses on to look at this. It's just gorgeous. We're amazed at the quality we got for the price.
But way beyond the ring, women love the Diamonds Direct experience. It's personal, it's caring, it's authentic, and it's fun.
It's people that are pretty much family, honestly, at this point. I'm not even joking. It sounds like an exaggeration, but they're so warm and welcoming.
They were so nice and so down to earth, and we just felt like family.
Very laid back. Not one time did we feel like we were being pressured. Not one time did we feel like we were being asked to extend a budget we did not have.
Just make you feel so at home and you just feel comfortable shopping. It's just a great place to shop. I mean, I love it.
Discover the difference for yourself. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Rob Thompson here for Alamo Cycleplex. The weather's turning warm, the skies are blue, and the breezes are blowing. You need to get out and have some fun. I want you to head over to Alamo Cycleplex. 7 fantastic brands of power sport fun under one roof. You're sitting on a cycle right now. You've got power sport that you want to get rid of. They are ready to talk with you. They will purchase used items, but let's talk about what's in there and the fun that's in store. If you're looking for 2, 3-wheeled fun, you're looking for something on the water, something to work the lease, or something to get the family together for a great weekend of fun, Alamo Cycleplex is the place to start. They're at I-10 and De Zavala. Specials are in play. Go over and see these fantastic folks. You're looking to buy, you need financing, they have it. You want brand new cycle, a variety of brands, they've got it. You need service, they have that as well. Head over to Alamo Cycleplex, De Zavala and I-10. The summer is here. The fun has begun. Control your fun. Head over to Alamo Cycleplex today.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM at ESPNSA.com. Father's Day, just a couple of weeks away. They don't want to tie anything like that. Give them cash. You can score $1,000 for Father's Day for your dad or for you. Register now at ESPNSA.com. It's that simple. All you got to do is go to ESPNSA.com and register to win $1,000 for dad at ESPNSA.com. And while you're at ESPNSA.com, under that little win tab that's over there on the top, kind of near the left, this weekend, you know, it looks beautiful right now. You're going to fire up the grill. I know I've got a brisket that's going to go on the Traeger in about 6 hours from right now. It's seasoned. It's ready. I'm going to put that baby on about midnight, take a photo of what's on your grill, upload it. You can win yourself a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market next Thursday with Grilling with the Blitz. He is RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing. He'll be back on tomorrow morning with Jack Thompson from 9 to 11 for the Saturday morning hangover. And I am going to guess this is going to be a topic tomorrow morning on the hangover because it involves a former Houston Texans player. See, we don't really get into Texans topics all that much. In fact, 9 out of 10 times they end up on the rundown. We talk about something else. But when you're a former Texan and you tweet something out, then it becomes interesting. And it is interesting in the simple fact that D-Hop, who is a social media recruiter, is now recruiting Julio Jones. D-Hop tweeted, somebody at the gym asked me, would I restructure my contract for Julio? And then he's got a How I Met Your Mother emoji with the thumbs up. And because it's got a How I Met Your Mother emoji and it's from DeAndre Hopkins, I know it will be a topic on the Saturday morning hangover with James Pledger and, of course, RJ Ochoa. That's your favorite show. So the emoji says D-Hop would give up some money to go get a Julio Jones.
It's not an emoji. It's a gift. Please get caught up
whatever.
with terms.
Jeez. Yeah,
geez.
Same difference.
Embarrassing.
Okay, Boomer.
Are you going to be able to stay up till midnight to put this brisket on, or are you going to go to sleep at 8 p.m. and then get up right before your morning coffee? But anyway.
Don't drink coffee and I'll be up.
I mean, this is one of those things that I just The Falcons are so stupid if they trade Julio Jones. I have no idea why the Falcons would want to move him anywhere. If I was the Falcons, I would hate that like these things were things right now. I would be so bothered that other people were talking about Julio in this context. But why? Why would the Falcons trade him? There's no logic to support this.
Well, to get rid of that contract. Is a guy that has had Julio Jones on my fantasy team the last couple of years. He is just brutal, but I don't know that he's worth it. But what about? I mean, it's one thing for D-Hop, who has been known to. It seems like he's got excuse me, a fan sense that every time somebody becomes available, hey, come over here. Hello, it's just like, every time somebody becomes a Cowboys, that's D-Hop. Come to me. Come here. What about Aaron Rodgers? Do you think Aaron Rodgers, people are working some back channels to, I know Aaron is trying to get a new contract, or at least it seems that way, because, as surly as he is right now and mad at Green Bay, a gazillion dollars kind of makes you smile. Although I don't know how long Aaron would stay happy with that new contract, but You look at what they already have in Green Bay, and if you were to add a Julio, give a legit weapon to Aaron Rodgers, if you're Green Bay and you want to make things right with Aaron Rodgers like you say you do, aren't you doing everything you can to go get Julio Jones?
Yes, but let's be clear here, and I think this is an important note on the Packers aren't doing anything to help Aaron Rodgers take. He has Devontae Adams. He has arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL already. But
he's greedy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm just saying, this idea that they've done nothing to help him is ridiculous. But anyway, I mean, Green Bay makes some sense. If Julio truly is on the trade block, A, the Falcons are dumb. But B, if this team is not doing everything they can to land him, then they are maybe worse. The Indianapolis Colts. I don't know how the Indianapolis Colts traded for Carson Wentz, and people think that's going to work fine, but they have done nothing to help him. When the problem in Philadelphia was that they actually did nothing to help him. Yes, they drafted Jalen Reagor last year, but Carson Wentz had nobody. And Indianapolis came up dry in free agency. They didn't even really come close to landing Kenny Golladay. They brought back T.Y. Hilton. Cool. I mean, trade for Julio Jones, Colts, if you really want to, because this has to work if you're the Colts. And the only way it does is if you surround Carson Wentz with talent. I think my favorite non-Falcons place for Julio to end up is the Ravens. That would be so much fun. Because Lamar, too, at least they got him Sammy Watkins and drafted Rashad Bateman. But, I mean, if you put Julio, and dude, Julio would look sick. I mean, just unbelievably sick in that Ravens uniform. So, in fact, he would not look as cool in the Colts uniform. Put him in Baltimore right now, please.
As long as he's in the AFC, I think I'd be okay with that. As long as he's not going to, I don't know, say Philadelphia or Washington, I think I'd be pretty good with that. Certainly not in New York. If you think about a healthy Barkley, and I know they drafted a wide receiver who might be pretty good that could give the Cowboys some problems. I know, there's some things there with the Giants that if a Julio ended up there could change a lot. Although, you still got Jones throwing the football. The question is, how good is he going to be when you think about the different NFC East quarterbacks? It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. Again, you'll probably hear a lot more of that tomorrow with James Pledger from 9 to 11 on The Hangover. Then don't forget the Sunday Sports Grill on Sunday from 11 to 1 with Michael Jimenez and Quid Hudson, our two most recent Rock the Mic winners. 9 to 11 is Laying Down the Law with Steve Foster, who has not won Rock the Mic, but it's a long weekend of good local sports talk on what should be a spectacular sports weekend. Kind of one of those great sports weekends that has snuck up on us. We'll talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz.
Sundays are for the grill. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 in the morning to 1. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 to 1 every Sunday.
We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. Jason Minnick's here for New Brakes, a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Busy at work or relaxing at the house, you continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes. Go read all their 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Guys love shopping at Diamonds Direct because they can always get a bigger, better diamond for less.
We got a higher quality diamond for less money than we looked at any other stores that we went to.
I even shopped down in Mexico, thinking maybe down in the Caribbean it would be better off, and nothing could beat what I found here.
The value and the deal that you can get by cutting out the middleman.
You're certainly getting quality and price, which you don't find elsewhere.
But beyond the value, what guys really love about Diamonds Direct is they make it easy with transparency, education, guidance, and respect for you and your budget.
What I thought was going to be a stressful situation ended up being completely pleasant, enjoyable process from beginning to end.
For all the dudes out there, buying jewelry is difficult and stressful. Diamonds Direct eliminates all that.
If you're looking for zero hassle, zero high-pressure sales techniques, Diamonds Direct is the place to go.
Discover a truly guy-friendly jewelry shopping experience.
I guarantee you that once you walk in these stores, you're not going to go anywhere else.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or divorcedude.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minnick. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson on this Friday. Appreciate you filling in for Rob last minute, the unplanned sort of day off. Although he still hasn't let me know that he wasn't going to be here today, just for the record.
So is he showing up at some point?
I don't know. I mean, yesterday was, I might take the day. I know he called RJ about 2:00. You told me, yeah, no, Rob's not going to be here today. Okay, cool. But yeah, he hadn't let me know. So at any moment, I don't expect him to show up, but I do appreciate you taking the time on a Friday, RJ. I know you've got a golf course you could be at right now. You could be writing stuff at bloggingtheboys.com. What do you guys have going on there at the site?
It's starting to hit like true off-season mode. Shot a new video that's up on our YouTube channel, kind of discussing Dak Prescott, where he ranks. Because now we don't have to argue about whether Dak Prescott should be paid or not, you know what I mean, which is really nice. And now we can get back to arguing about how good he is relative to the field. Sean Lee spoke about Dak Prescott this week, so we kind of talked about that. It was a little bit of a trip down memory lane, kind of talking about how Dak assimilated to the starting position, really how he assimilated to the QB2 position. I know one of the best photographers in world history, Jason Minnick, snapped a photo of Kellen Moore's snapped ankle that particular day.
Yeah, it was an interesting day that changed a lot of people's lives in that Cowboys organization, none more than Dak Prescott. But you think about that day in Oxnard, and every time you bring that up, you think about where Dak was. And the interesting thing is the day before, Rob and I were talking with Dak Prescott, and, the whole, I'm just trying to figure out where the lunchroom is and do everything I can to get better. And, because he didn't even know if he was going to make the team. I mean, that was the crazy thing. Now, all of a sudden, he's starting that playoff game against the Rams, and man, Tony Romo's career is over. Kellen Moore is coaching, and Dak Prescott's got like $100 million in the bank. It's crazy.
Oh, $100 million is selling him really short.
I said in the bank. Because I know he has spent some. I mean, it's not cheap to put a football field in your backyard, even if it's half a football field. Although that is the new thing with all these NFL dudes, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how long it's been a trend that these guys have done that, but I saw a video of Russ Wilson throwing the ball in one of his many backyards today and doing what they call trespasses, where the receiver's running behind a tent. You can't even see them, yet the ball is right there on the money.
In the video with Grant Bessinger, excuse me, that Dak did, Graham Bessinger. It's Friday, but he talked about, like, they walked through the field, and he talked about how he was building like a Topgolf kind of bay as well, to and like a little driving range. So no big deal, just enough, enough to keep him entertained, I suppose.
We'll be entertained this weekend on the couch because this is an underrated sports weekend. It's one of those great sports weekends that you didn't have circled on your calendar. There are great sports weekends that are coming and you prepare for it. Like, you can order everything from the Masters menu to gear up and have a Masters experience at your house. RJ did that. I don't know what you ordered up for this weekend, but you've got obviously what's going on in the Premier League, which is huge for some. You've got the PGA Championship. You've got the Stanley Cup playoffs. You've got the NBA playoffs kicking off. You've got Astros and Rangers, the Silver Boot Series. In fact, the Rangers are so far behind, they can't even throw the boot close enough to hit the Astros at this point. Game 2 of that series tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock here on ESPN San Antonio, brought to you by newbreaks.com. But it is going to be a great sports weekend that I don't think many people thought about on Monday as being a great sports weekend.
Yeah, it's thrilling. There's action everywhere. There's no reason to leave the couch. It's the type of weekend where you want to put a brisket in on Friday night at midnight and then, let it cook all night long, get up Saturday and just enjoy your hard work that you did nothing.
Well, to nothing. I mean, I've already prepped the brisket. It is seasoned. It is in the fridge now. The Traeger is clean. I cleaned that earlier today. Ready to put the brisket on. I'm going to put it on somewhere between midnight and 1. Whenever I get home from the bar, I'm going to put it on, and 5, 6 o'clock, check on it. Make sure the baby's doing okay. At some point, we'll wrap it, throw it back on there, and it's going to be fantastic.
I'm jealous. You guys, if you post pictures all the time. If you don't post like 1,000 pictures of this, like, what are you doing?
Oh, I won't be 1,000 pictures, but you'll probably get 2 or 3.
We need at least 10. We need at least 10. Make sure you hit double digits.
We don't need at least 10. You'll probably get one about when it goes on, and then when I slice it and see that beautiful smoke ring. Might be so good, I might put it up at ESPNSA.com in that Tri-County Meat Contest under somebody else's email. Nah, I won't do that. Saturday morning, Hangover starts at 9. We'll see you Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Blitz, weekdays 4 to 7, bringing you all the best guests.
Marcus Ware joining us here on ESPN San Antonio.
We get to go to Oxnard every year to cover